Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our third edition, or is it fourth edition of Crew Talk? I always
Third.
find a way to mess up these intros. I'm good at that. Third edition for the July 28th is the date, and I'm your boy Eddie Nines. I am a admin at Twitch Crew, and then we also have Musashell. She's also an admin at Twitch Crew. My kitten just walked across my desk. Okay. Um, then we have Mars Echelon and I Am Not a Slot, who are also who are mods in Twitch Crew, and we here to talk about some stuff. So, first of all, just a quick hello to everyone out there. Diamond Tomahawk, Pack Beast. Congrats, by the way, one of the newly crowned champions after the Rainbow Six tourney, which we'll get into a little bit. Alani one also, I believe you're on the Team Outcast clan as well, I believe. So congrats to you as well. Pavlin Command, Bloodhaven. Hello from 55 northbound to Chicago. Drive safe, dude. You and I video chatted for a second before I got on here, so I know you've got that completely empty road ahead, but still, things can happen. So listen and pay attention, as I know you can. So, all right. Anyway, so once again, welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. And without further ado, let's, as I usually do, I'm going to kick it off with some gaming news. I only got one. I went green today. I've got one piece of paper, and I run on both sides. So
I got you covered.
it doesn't feel as
I've
good
got
as
a
having a
pineapple.
stack. I should have just had like a stack of more like empty papers with it. Then it's just yeah. So gaming news. All right. So as always, we're gonna start with some Fortnite. As we usually do. It's still the hot game. Love it or hate it. There's a lot of red in my room. Yes, it is, and I'm not wearing any red, which is weird. But yeah, so talking about a little Fortnite. As everyone knows, anyone who's a regular player of the game, which I am not, Slot you are, they nerfed the P90 SMG, right? I guess there was
Did they nerf it?
Yes, they did. They nerfed the accuracy, the damage, and the fire rate. All three of those they brought down across the board for all SMGs. The new one included. So I guess goodbye for SMG meta. Apparently that was a thing. That sounds terrible. I'm glad I haven't encountered that. Just get me tilted, so to speak. But yeah, so they nerfed the SMGs. Apparently they fixed the ghost peeking issue. Anyone who's not aware of this would basically allow players, one, you could see through the material before sniping if you would damage it enough. And basically what it would do, when you would stand in a certain locations on like a ramp, like a stair ramp, and you would be able to snipe people without exposing your own body. So obviously that's, would get really annoying. So apparently they fixed that issue. I wouldn't be surprised if, it's like you put the finger in one hole in the dam and another hole springs out sort of thing, which tends to happen with patches, but there you go. So, and then another update on the summer skirmish week. That's the Fortnite tournament that they had going on. We talked on that a little bit. But before I get in that, any thoughts on... Rachel, you're the only one here that really plays Fortnite. So what do you think
I
about
actually haven't opened it today. That's why I didn't know about the nerfs, because as of yesterday, I don't think it was nerfed. When I played yesterday, it was still pretty OP.
Right.
I haven't opened it today, so that must have just happened. They nerfed a bunch of stuff too. They nerfed C4 instead of C4 blowing whole buildings now.
Mhm.
It only blows like one wall out. That's a
Okay.
huge nerf to C4, which everybody
Yeah,
knows.
that's a change for sure.
And they've also nerfed buildings. So wood starting strength and stone starting strength are now the same. So you don't have that benefit of building with stone first. And wood's overall health is obviously now still stronger than stone. Forgot the word for a second. So that's just a couple things. But yeah, the SMG meta was terrible. So it's really, really good. Terrible. Like, it's really, really nice that they nerfed that whole meta, because it was like getting a lot of people tilted. Like, everybody that I've been playing with has just been like so annoyed about it.
Right, yeah. I can imagine.
Because there's no gun to like equal it. So now that it's, especially with the P90, you'd be able to shoot out a structure in seconds. And there is no way to outbuild it until the person with the P90 reloaded. That was the only moment you had to kind of outbuild it. And if you didn't build fast enough, then you were just kind of screwed.
Right.
So that's a really good nerf. Like I said, I haven't opened it today, so I can't really talk much about it. But those are all like really good things that have been going on with it. Okay. But like you said, there's always like you fix one thing, another thing pops up.
Yeah. And it always seems like the P90 is like a video game staple as far as assault rifles go, and I feel like every game it's in, it tends to be one of the most used SMGs, just because if you match the real world stats, I mean, it's got a high fire rate, it's got the big clip, it's compact, that it tends to cause issues in games. I know I get annoyed when some operators in Siege tend to use the P90. So, but yeah, anyway, so one more thing I actually skipped over here. Just playground mode's back as well, I think. Right? The version 2 of playground mode's back.
So
yes, please go ahead.
The cool thing about playground mode now is the biggest complaint was that all 4 people were on the same team, so you could edit and you could edit and place traps on each other's builds that would still kill each other. So now there's team select.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
Yep.
So you can be on opposite teams.
Now I'm curious. Can you like let's say like you guys are like playing with Prismac, who's like really good? Could you guys do like a 3v1? Like, can you literally? Yeah. That's cool. That's fun.
So
like some fun like
Prismac
hide and go seek type gameplay or whatever.
Yeah, Prismac and I were playing the other day. We ended up staying on the same team because he was just helping me with like some build stuff because I've been trying to get better with that.
Yeah, for sure.
But we tested it out, and if you go into menu, there's a team select option, so you choose team 1 or team 2, and
okay,
then
very cool.
It puts you onto that team, and then that's where you go from there.
Very cool. Now, and this article that was talking about this was talking about how playground mode is back and how it's kind of like it talks about more as Fortnite as a platform more than just like a gaming platform, more than just a battle royale platform, in a sense that like now that playground mode is back and you've got things like the golf carts and you've got activities like golf and basketball, how like its future could be more like as a platform for different sort of mini games with friends instead of just battle royale. You know what I mean? You guys think that's like Mars? I'm gonna pick on you because you haven't said anything. Why? No, I'm just kidding. Anyone that wants to respond to that, what do you guys think? Because let's be honest. Eventually, the popularity is gonna dip, right? Either because people get sick of battle royales in general, or because they just get sick of Fortnite. Even a game as popular with Fortnite eventually is going to see a decline. So do you think that's something Epic might be doing, like try to kind of keep it fresh, and just in case people do get sick of battle royales? Because I actually think that's a good idea. I could see myself firing up a round of Playground, if we're playing like mini golf or something stupid like that, because it is fun. It is a lot of fun. So, any thoughts on that? Making the Source Engine a platform? Yeah, that's essentially what I'm talking about, Eisen. Yeah, is letting it being a platform for like other stuff. So
I think that might be a pretty good way to go about it. Honestly, I think it would add a different dynamic to the game completely. I know, just looking through chat, even Huggy said, in terms of your whole decline as a game, he was saying that you're winning a match with no real benefit. I think if they had some kind of benefit to their wins rather than just another number, that could also help decline the decline. But I think having it as a platform, just like you said, to go around on playground mode and do something silly, I think people would enjoy that too, because it's just at that point then it's just relaxing and not as stressful as just going around and shooting people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think that'd be kind of beneficial.
Yeah, agreed. Like I said, I think that's something that could and I do plan to play more Fortnite, but I think that's something that could bring someone like me back who doesn't play as much Fortnite as they used to. So all right, anyway, moving on, because
I think Rachel had something to say.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Real quick. Just because we're talking about like reward benefits, they did just add a ranked version, so it's called Solo Showdown.
Oh, nice.
So that you don't really get much, like you don't get like a reward, but it kind of adds, if you want to play ranked, like if you're really, really good, you can go in there and you get like a ranking. I don't know a lot about how it works because it just came out and I'm obviously not playing it.
Yeah.
But they do now have a ranked, and who knows, that may be an LTM, it may stick around, but right now Solo Showdown is a ranked match.
Very cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Very cool. All right. So, okay, moving on, just a couple more things here, and then I'm going to wrap up the gaming news. Let's see. It's so weird having one piece of paper. So Steam rolled out their new sleek chat update. So basically, I don't use Steam a lot. I don't think a lot of people do, obviously, because we're Discord based. But they're trying to compete with Discord. They're trying to compete with Slack. You can create voice text channels a lot like Discord can. They also have like a dynamic friends list that lets you like group friends by game or like party or something like that. And they made the user interface more slick and updated. I personally don't use Steam friend like chat for anything, especially since we're so Discord based. But I mean, I do think it's kind of interesting, moving forward, because obviously, they're going to try to steal some of those, things. Although it's going to be weird. I can see like a community like actually like migrating to a completely different platform. You know what I mean? Like that sounds awful. That would stress Baggy out so much. just picturing like he's probably like sweating right now, just me talking about this. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on. So, I'm excited about this. Amazon began taking pre-orders for the Nintendo Online. Nintendo Online is the pay version, of course. It's 2018. Nintendo's finally going the way of paying for your online services, but it's going to be a lot cheaper than most. It's supposed to launch in September. The date's TBD, TBA, same thing. And like I said, right now, currently, if you play any games that you play online, the Switch are free right now, but sometime in September, that is going to change. And it's pretty affordable. You can get 12 months for $19.99, 3 months for 3 months, for $7.99, or you can go on a month-by-month basis for $3.99. And they even have a family member plan, which I guess will include up to 8 people for $34.99. So pretty affordable. What do you guys think? I mean, like, that's something I'm definitely going to get, because, like, I'm super pumped for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate coming out. I'm going to stream it. I'm going to play it online. So, Rachel, that's your race fan. Too many screens to look at. It's like, it's sorry.
No, that's what happens when you have 3 monitors.
Yeah, 3 monitors and 2 instances of, anyway. Carry on.
So I just lost my, so that's, like, super affordable if you have, like, PlayStation Plus is not anywhere near that affordable, and there's no family share, so, like, you're paying, like, $100 a year or whatever it is for each person that wants it. So I'm not a huge Nintendo person. I don't have any Nintendo consoles right now. They're all back at my parents' house, and they're all older. I think the only ones I have are GameCube and 64 right now. But if you're a Nintendo person, that's a really good deal, especially if you can get up to 8 people, like, on a family plan. Like, you could one person, and then you split the cost, like, with friends or something. It's kind of, I think that's a really good deal that they have going.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, agreed. And like Mars, like you were saying, like, for a year of live Xbox Live or PSN, it's gonna run you $60. It's $59.99.
Yeah.
If you're quick, every once in a while, Amazon will have a nice deal where you can get it a year for like $40 or something like that. Sometimes they do the smaller amounts too, but most people just buy a year, and you're done with it, and you don't whatever. So, $20 for a year. That's impulse buy for me. I'll definitely do that. I don't have enough gamers in the house that I would need to go for the family pack, but maybe in a few years, so you never know. But I mean, yeah. So, is
there any benefit to having it online? Like what benefit does it have over other platforms? Say, like, what does the online give you?
Yes, and thank you, because that's a bullet point I missed. So thank you so much, Eleni. And let me know if I fixed the echoing, guys. I muted my the Slobs audio, so hopefully you can still hear me. Hopefully it's not echoing. So you get access to cloud storage, which is kind of a big deal, especially because the Switch does have limited memory. I think it's got 32 gigs as the system memory. You can put in micro SD cards. Amazon actually was running a really good special on some of those earlier, by the way. But for the most part, compared to other systems, it's not a lot of memory. So cloud storage is a big thing. You also, and this is the only thing that irks me, because they're not bringing back Virtual Console. Anyone who had a Wii U or a 3DS, Virtual Console well. I love Virtual Console. It's amazing. I've played some old school, Nintendo games with my kids. That's something everyone was really wanting Nintendo to bring back out for the Switch. It made sense. They haven't been doing it. They finally said it's not coming back. It's like, let it go, apparently. I won't let it go. But they did say they're going to release, tier. They are releasing, there's 20 NES games that are going to be available once the online service launches. You are going to have to pay for them, but I think they range from like $3 or $4 a piece, maybe $5 a piece per game, which isn't bad. I mean, it sucks that, I know a lot of people probably own a lot of those games already on the Virtual Console, and they're not be able to migrate them over to the Switch is annoying, but, these things happen. At least they're not Sony, and I'm not going to get triggered by that. So,
You already are.
I am. I low-key triggered already. Let's be honest. So, this is a real Nintendo question with you guys. Get the Mini 64 console. Huggy, if it comes out, I don't know, man. I got a Nintendo Classic Mini. I have a Super Nintendo Mini. I love them. I mean, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't get one because I can rattle off some awesome 64 games: Smash Brothers, GoldenEye, Mario Kart 64. I was a big fan of Star Wars. Was it Rogue Empire? Something. Anyway, there are some games out there, but I don't know. I honestly don't know. I feel like Super Nintendo is where my nostalgia kind of stops, even though Nintendo 64 is a long time ago. Like I was in like high school or middle school when it came out, so I know it was a long time ago. But I don't know. And I mean, it depends on the price point, right? Like the Nintendo Classic was $50, I think, and then the Super Nintendo was like 60. So what's the 64 going to be, like, 80? I don't know. I'm just with it. So. Anyway, sorry, ladies, I'm talking a lot. We're just going to go ahead and...
No, you are all good. Talk away.
Fallout 76 beta starts in October. It actually comes out November 14th. Anyone not familiar with that? That is going to be Fallout's entry into multiplayer. You'll be able to play with 3 other people online in the Fallout universe. It's actually going to be pretty cool. I might be thinking about getting that one. That one will be fun with some Twitch crew peeps. Yeah, so a couple more points here. 3, actually. Some PUBG news. So Brandon Green, aka Player Unknown, he said that when the PUBG custom servers come, they will be pay based. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the exact noise I made. Like, why? I guess. Why do you think you guys like? Why wouldn't you? I mean, dedicated servers have been a thing since like the late '90s, right? Like, why wouldn't he just go? Like, I could see if you want to pay for a custom server and not do a dedicated one, then you could pay the money. But yeah, Music, go ahead.
Well, I mean, they basically you can already do some custom stuff, right? So why, like, I feel like if they were already allowing it, why shift to, like, what's the benefit of doing it if you can have a custom server without paying for it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I don't know much about the custom servers. Like, I don't play a lot of PUBG anymore. I'm assuming this might be like their stab at something. Obviously, they can't do something like Playground. It's not the same kind of game, but I don't think you can do. I don't think you can do custom games. I don't think that's a thing with Battle Royale.
There's a zombie mode. There's
currently
you can.
still?
I've seen people do it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
I thought there was going on. I haven't loaded into it in a while, but
I never played PUBG, but I've watched it played a lot. But I would assume if they're going to make custom servers pay-based, then they're probably going to get rid of all the ones that are free. I would imagine that they wouldn't allow you to have free and pay-based, like, because then nobody would be getting the pay-based stuff. So they may make those ones that are already free part of pay-based, if that's it. I don't know that much about PUBG, so I'm kind of talking out my butt.
Well, then at the same time, though, there's games like Rust that you can pay for your own server and set it up how you want, and then there's still free servers too that are community servers. So I wonder if that's how they're going to go. Maybe. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Indeed.
Eddie, do you have any information on the No Man's Sky update? Bloodhaven was asking.
You know what? I actually was going to talk about that, but I didn't think anyone gave a shit, so I wasn't going to. So that's...
Somebody asked.
So basically, the update, I think it's called Next. I'm just going from memory on this. It adds multiplayer, which is a big thing, which is cool. I really enjoy that game. It just got to the point I was like, this would be really cool if, someone else can enjoy it. Because if you're not familiar with No Man's Sky, like it's a space exploration. You literally discover randomized planets. And before, technically, another player could come across your planet, like if they visited the same universe, but there was a small chance, all that kind of stuff. This is bona fide multiplayer, which is very cool. Base building, you'll now be able to teleport back to your base, and you'll be able to build the base anywhere versus it being, I think before you could only build a base in certain areas on the map that allowed for it. So yeah, and I think they're adding some creature types and enemy types and all sorts of that good stuff. So, and it's actually discounted on Steam, I believe. I think it's regular $59. I think it's around like $30 or so. Do you have something to add to that, Rachel?
I know I don't remember who was talking about it in Gen Chat the other day. So I apologize if you're in here and it was you. Let me know. I can't think of the name. Somebody was saying between this update and they have another update coming out in a couple weeks or something, that it's gonna kind of make it a lot more playable for most people. Because I know a lot of people got bored of it real fast. Like,
yeah. And I'm one of those people. I loved it, but like you said, it definitely got.
Yes, I just know somebody was talking about it in Gen Chat. Seemed like they know a lot about it. And they were saying that the next 2 updates are what's going to make it like back to what it should have been when it came out. And so they suggested everybody who's interested in it buy it on the sale right now. Music.
Very good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I looked it up. The sale right now it is 50% off, so $59.99 marked down to $29.99. But it is
Good deal.
it is a time sale. The offer ends in 40 hours, so you have
less than
less
2
than
days.
2 days to go get it.
You know, and I might consider that because I had a lot of fun. I have it on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And I, you know, despite after what everyone said about it, like it not living up to expectations, which they totally did not, I had a lot of fun. Like Bloodhaven says, it's like space Minecraft. That's the best way to describe it. Mars, did you have something to?
So I have the actual website open right now. It says that it actually they did a graphic overhaul. The addition of, like you said, the full multiplayer experience, near unlimited base building, command of freighter armadas, and more. They also added a third-person and first-person view.
Really? Okay.
So now you can play in third-person or first-person, and I think they said that they also overhauled the views on how you're flying, so they have a true low flight mode across the surface of the planets.
Nice.
And they added more expressive gestures that you can do to communicate with other players on the servers, and just you know, an appearance customizer. And it looks like to be like what they're doing. I've also never played the game, so I'm not entirely sure what the game was before. But all these updates, from what I can tell, is just making sure that like these people, you know, they have their personalization, which a lot of people like, the different viewpoints, and it seems to tailor more towards the actual player, getting what they want out of the game. So that seems pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And it's the thing I enjoy of the game, and I was talking to Edge about this in his stream the other day, is it reminds me of, they're not the same game, but it reminds me of Sea of Thieves in the sense of like there's no clock, there's no rush to do anything. You just kind of like go explore at your pace. Like you can literally like hop in your spaceship and like you real time like travel out of the atmosphere into space and like plot a chart to another planet and like travel there, like light. It's fun. Like it's a lot of fun. Like just, and like there's no loading screens for any of that. Like you literally just hop from one planet to net, you know, go down, land. There's like animals. It's a lot of fun, and it could be even a lot more fun with people. So that's, like I said, I might have to look into that. So
pick it up, people.
But
Pick it up.
so it sounds like, because I feel like it seems like the issue people have with Sea of Thieves is very similar to what the issue people have with No Man's.
You're good.
Am I good? Okay, my monitors just shut off, and
Nope,
I was
you're
just
good.
like, okay, I'm back. Sorry that I was just like, what just happened? That it's very open world, and there's no timer. You could kind of do what you want, but there's not enough content to keep people hooked into the game. And it seems like those are two games that have similar gameplays, but are lacking in the same areas where there's not a lot to keep people coming back.
I agree.
Yeah. And oh man, and there's some really pissed off people when that game first came out. And you know, it was like it reminded me of when Fable first came out, and Peter Moore like had to like, he was like moonwalking basically because he had to backtrack on like so many things he said what happened and didn't happen. And yeah. So okay, so anything else on No Man's Sky chat, anything like that before I move on? Because that I got a lot of, it's funny, I almost added that. I was like, no one's gonna, like I said, no one's gonna give a shit. So that's cool. That,
That's what you get for
thanks
thinking
for
not.
asking. I guess so. Well, you know, I always have too much content. I try to trim it down, but all right. So
Apparently, Jackie also said there is a Sea of Thieves update on Tuesday.
oh, see
For anyone who does play the game.
There is supposed to be one. They had a whole panel at Comic-Con about it, but I couldn't get into it, so I wish I had more to say about it. But yeah, it seemed like they had like an hour-long panel talking about how they're expanding it, so I'm guessing they have a lot coming.
Nice.
Cool.
All right, two last things here. So the Rocket League pool for the Rocket League Championship Series has been doubled to $1 million. This year, up from obviously $500,000. Math is fundamental, kids.
Holy
Now you can't win all that at once. That's super awesome. Like 109,000 of it is set aside for both the North American and European winners. And then if you're winning the tournament, the local area network tournament itself nets you $100,000. So that's like the total pool that they're going to pull the prize money from. Still very cool though. Rocket League, a very popular game. Of course, we do some Twitch Crew tournaments here, and so it's gaining in popularity. So my last point here, and this is going to lead into us recapping the tournament last night, and then I'll go ahead and shut up for tonight on my points. But so I think this is really cool. There's a Ghost Recon Rainbow Six Siege crossover going on right now. In Ghost Recon Wildlands, of course, they are both Tom Clancy in the Tom Clancy verse. So to speak. Ghost Recon previously did a crossover with Splinter Cell, which is very cool, which is one of my favorite series. So anyway, Valkyrie, Twitch, and Kavera actually all guest star in this mission. It's called Special Operation 2. And I actually looked at they had a photo gallery of it, and actually Doc's in there too. So cool. he even had a stim pistol in his hand. I was like, he's gonna heal himself. Look, he's not gonna use anybody else. So basically, I guess the backstory is Cav goes missing in Bolivia, which is where Ghost Recon takes place. Cav's actually Brazilian, but close enough. And so Ghost Recon teams up with the operators, and then you probably some missions that you run along. So you don't actually play as the Siege players, but they assist you. They play alongside you. And if you beat it by August 14th, you'll get some Kavera gloves that allow for some cool close quarters combat takedowns, and there's some skins and some weapon models based off some weapons from Siege. So that's pretty cool.
Cool.
So that kind of segues right into my last little point here. Did I have any race pins? I don't think I saw any, just to make sure, because I was looking at my
No, but I have one thing. Is anyone surprised that Cav went missing?
right. She's like, I'm not missing. I'm just stalking, bitch.
Just nobody can hear her.
Yeah, exactly. Silent step.
She's not actually missing.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. She just doesn't want to be found. She roamed too far. Very good at it. So that segues into my last little bit here is we had a small community Rainbow Six Siege tournament last night. It was Team Bluecoat, which I was a member of, versus the Outcast Clan. Outcast came, and the way it worked, it was best of 5 maps. It was super intense. We took 2. Outcast Clan took 2. So it came down to the final and 5th map. They were the best. They came out on top. They rushed very well on attack. It was causing us some issues, even though we had Cuban, who is Master Love. The dude is awesome, and he was carrying us pretty much the whole time, but it was just too much for us to come over. But still a lot of fun. Congrats once again to the Outcast Clan. You guys did awesome. It was a lot of fun. So without further ado, I guess that's Nerf Cuban.
Okay, so I'm gonna actually segue from your Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege into Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan.
Sweet.
Yay.
Cool.
All the segues.
I was not going to start with Jack Ryan, but it seemed too perfect.
Yeah.
So at Comic-Con, they actually surprised everybody at that panel with a premiere screening of the entire pilot, which was super cool because they hadn't shown any content to anyone in the US. Like, there had been no trailers, really, no footage. So they kind of were just like, hey, we're just going to show you the pilot. It was a lot of fun. It was very good. So for those of you who don't know, John Krasinski, who most of us know as the lovely Jim from The Office,
Jim
is now Jack Ryan, which is a really interesting transition for him, considering Jack Ryan's a very action-heavy role, which we saw he's capable of in 13 Hours, for those of you who have seen it. This was a really, really
put on a lot
cool,
of muscle. Sorry, that's mine.
He put on a lot of muscle, but this was a really
weird
cool
thing to say about it.
I mean, he did. I've got John Krasinski staring at me from every corner of my room.
I just since I already interrupted, I might as well finish my thought. I remember seeing 13 Hours, and I was like, that's fucking Jim. Like, holy shit. Like, makes me feel like I need to go back to the gym. No pun intended. Like, he looked great. So
Here we go. Here's a good look at
he makes
Yeah.
a perfect Jack Ryan, both in looks and demeanor. So anyway, please go ahead.
So what's interesting about Jack Ryan is he starts as an analyst for the CIA. So that's why John Krasinski is actually really good for this role, because we can believe him as somebody who lives in an office and doesn't do all this heavy action stuff.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job of developing him as a person. He's got a heart. He cares. But he also doesn't want to be involved in the depth of it. But there's a really cool moment, which I'm not going to get into. There's a really cool moment where you kind of see the flip switch in his head flip, and he knows he has to go from the analyst, nice guy, to if I don't do this, I'm going to die.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really cool moment. It's that's kind of when you see him become Jack Ryan. So I highly recommend this to anybody who is a John Krasinski fan, a Tom Clancy fan, an action series fan. It's going to be coming out on Amazon Prime on August 31st. I really have nothing bad to say about the show. It was really fun. They really set you up the characters really well, and I think everyone's going to love Krasinski as Jack Ryan, which I know a lot of people were iffy about because it's so different, but it was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just going to be talking about a bunch of Comic-Con stuff, but Eddie, I know you're a big Jack Ryan fan, so I haven't seen most of the older ones. I don't know if you want to...
Yeah, very good transition, Rachel. Thank you so much. I was like, I had something to say. I don't know where my pen is, and you called me. No, yeah, I'm... Like when I interrupted so rudely before, I think he's a perfect pick for Jack Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who may or may not be familiar with the character, Harrison Ford played him previously. Alec Baldwin actually played him in A Hunt for Red October, which is kind of weird. I didn't like Alec Baldwin as Jack Ryan. Typically, Harrison Ford, Patriot Games, and Clear and Present Danger, two very good movies, actually. I think one or both of them might be actually on Amazon Prime. And that's, Jack Ryan's character. He starts as an analyst. He kind of gets pulled into some action. He kind of becomes a capable, kind of like an everyday, kind of hero, which is really cool. Of course, he's in the books. There's actually a Rainbow Six book that, the game's based on it. He's actually in. He's kind of at that point, he's a director of the CIA. There's a lot of, I could sit here and talk for an hour, which I won't, about Jack Ryan and kind of his place in the Clancy verse. I think he's even been president, technically. But yeah, super excited for Krasinski to take up the mantle, so to speak. I think anyone who's seen A Quiet Place, which I really liked. I know not everyone did.
I loved it.
He was a strong silent type in that. No, man, with the terrible puns today, I can't stop them. I'm not trying to. But no, I think it's gonna be good. So
it's gonna be great, and just because that just made me laugh in chat, Eleni, I was not paid to say that Jack Ryan was good. It just got a lot of. I was at an event, and they just every time I did an event for their offsite, they were just like, "Do you want a bag? Do you want a bag?" So I just got 6 bags for free, and 3 water bottles, and another bag that doesn't have his face on it.
Nice.
But what I also really like about Jack Ryan is they do give you my monitor just keeps shutting off. It keeps freaking me out.
You're fine.
That happens. Yeah.
So they do give you that little inside look that I believe he was a Marine.
Yep.
Once before. So they do give you that. Now they don't go really into it. They kind of give you a little flashpoint of it. It's so he has these skills and he's choosing to not do these things. So then that's when it's really cool when you see this switch flip in his head.
Yeah, he's not a complete desk potato. He's like you said,
No,
he was a
all.
Marine. He's got the and that's why I say every man, because he's more than capable of it. It's just one of those things he kind of put on the back, put on the shelf because he wasn't using them. He was he got pulled into the admin side of it. So super pumped. Super.
So on top of other things that I got to see at Comic-Con, which I got to see the premiere screening of the Castle Rock pilot.
Ah, yes.
Which Eddie, I know, watched the 3 episodes today.
That's what I did today.
I didn't get to watch them yet. Musi, I know you're interested in this.
I'm working on it.
But I'm going to start this off and a chat can chime in as well, but I'm asking you guys. I know, Eddie, I know you know the answer to this. You guys are familiar with the term mystery box TV? Mars, probably not, because you don't watch any TV. And Muse, I don't know if you know about it, but since you're into Castle Rock.
It sounds familiar, but
yeah.
not like
I actually
So,
don't know what you're talking about, but I'm gonna pretend like I do.
You watch a lot of
I feel
Mystery Box
so much
TV,
better
which is
now.
Westworld is Mystery Box TV, Lost was Mystery Box
Okay.
TV,
Oh,
How to Get
okay,
Away
yeah.
with Murder
Okay.
is Mystery Box
I get you, I
TV.
get you.
Okay.
So it's kind
I got
of this genre that's always been around, but and I'm not going to go on a Lost rant. Nobody has to worry about that. But it got revolutionized with Lost. Lost was the first like major cable production that was like, we're going to throw a bunch of information at you, but we're not going to tell you anything. And that's kind of what
Okay.
Mystery Box is. It sets up all this stuff, and you're kind of sitting around waiting for answers down the line.
I feel better now
Cool.
because I actually have seen Westworld.
Yeah, so Westworld is kind of like Mystery Box. You have
Season
all this
1.
stuff going on. Yeah, season 2 is a little less Mystery Box, but
No, I was digging at Mars because she needs to
Yeah.
watch season.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm Mars.
So Castle Rock definitely is like that because that's J.J. Abrams' whole brand as a TV creator. He
Absolutely.
loves to throw a bunch of questionable stuff at you, see what you can figure out, and then eventually one day down the line, like 4 years later, give you an answer to one question
Yeah.
while you still have 400 others.
Mhm.
What is really cool about Castle Rock is it's partnered with Stephen King. And anyone who's a
Ooh.
King fan, you've heard the term, you've heard of Castle Rock more than once, I'm sure, because
Mhm.
Yes. Yep.
it's a big part of his books. Castle Rock is not a book itself, but it is in most of his stories.
Yeah, the setting is I think
Yeah.
Needful Things is a setting. Castle Rock's a setting for that book.
Yeah.
There might be a
Mhm.
couple more, but yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of based on Castle Rock. And what's cool is King is not mystery box at all. He kind of likes to set up mysteries, but he likes to hit you in the face with answers as soon as you can.
Mhm.
Like, you
Yep.
know, if you look at The Shining, it's, oh, well, there's probably something weird with this hotel, but you kind of get that right off the bat. You don't have to wonder about it.
Right.
So
Right.
this mix of J.J. Abrams and Stephen King is going to be really interesting because you have this guy who never wants to answer anything and this guy who's always throwing answers at you, and they kind of balance each other out. So what they were talking about at Comic-Con was you have this J.J. Abrams feel of you don't really know what's going on, but you don't have to wait 10 episodes down the road to start to get answers. And they
Mhm.
said that you should be starting to get answers to certain things by episode 2, which I don't know if you can verify that, Eddie. But
Yeah, and it's it's a match made in heaven. It really is because, like
Yeah.
you said, JJ. No one does it better than JJ. Whether it's movies or it's TV. And Stephen, and the thing about Stephen King, being a Stephen King fan, is that he has such a wealth of stuff to pull from. Over 40 books by now. You've got the Dark Tower universe, which I don't want to talk about. It makes you want to cry that the movie sucked. You've got, It's a thing right now. Bill Skarsgård, who is one of 8 Skarsgårds. There's so many people in the family, that acting family. He had 8 kids by. That's a whole nother tangent. The same guy that played it, the same guy that plays it,
Pennywise,
and
yeah.
it actually stars in Castle Rock. And yeah, it's a perfect because you take the Stephen King, the mystery and the setting and the universe, usually some creepy town in Maine, and you combine that with what JJ does so well, and it's a great fit. I've seen all 3 episodes. It left me wanting more. Can't wait to see more. So definitely check it out if you've got Amazon or Hulu. It's Hulu. Definitely check it out. So,
and what's really cool about this as well with King is the three of the key characters, four of them have all been in King productions. You have Bill Skarsgård, who was Pennywise. You have Sissy Spacek, which we all know and love as Carrie.
still creeps me out, even at the same.
Still creeps me out. It's 3. Sorry, it's 3. And Melanie Linsky, who most people don't know that name, but if you ever watch 2.5 Men, she was Rose, the nutty neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
She is in Castle Rock, and she's going to be really good. But I don't remember exactly her part, but she did an adaptation of something Stephen King. So it's really cool to have these 3 people who were involved in previous King productions come back and do a whole new type of something.
Absolutely. And it's loaded with good actors. The ones you mentioned, the lead, the actor, I don't know his name. I don't think I've even ever seen him in anything, but he's a great I love watching shows.
Oh, Andre Holland.
Yeah. And getting a lead out of nowhere that's a strong and you're automatically rooting for the person. He's really good. A couple other actors, their names escape me at this time that I've seen in tons of other stuff. It's great. It's well produced. It's super creepy and mysterious. Definitely check it out.
Yeah,
Yes.
I highly recommend it. So the first 3 episodes are out now. Musi, I think you will really like it.
I just need to sit down and watch.
Yeah, it's the first 3 episodes are out, and I believe they're going to be doing 3 episodes every Wednesday. I think 12 episodes.
Cool.
I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Excited.
Yes, it's more
I
than
might be
10.
wrong. I might be wrong about that. I think it's 12 because it wouldn't mathematically work out to release 3 episodes.
Right. Which is fine because I'm so my brain, my body is so cued to 10 episodes that I'm like going through withdrawal after 10. So to have 2 more is really gonna help, basically extend the addiction I'm having. It's gonna end up being worse, but at this time I can now.
It's still not going to be enough for you.
No, it's not. It's never enough. It's
I'm trying
never
to
enough.
just trying to sell Mars on some TV shows here. A girl does not watch enough TV.
She doesn't. We
I
need to-
actually
we need to-
bought a new TV today.
Did
Oh,
you?
snap.
So you're
I
gonna
did.
get off. You're gonna get off here and go watch Westworld season 2, right?
Yes.
Tempting. Very tempting.
Yes, is what she's.
Okay. Yes.
Yes is the answer we're looking for here, Mars.
Yes, I am. You have my promise. You have my word. It's on the VOD.
Yes.
So I'm gonna talk about one more TV thing that came out of Comic-Con, which I don't know. Is anyone here a Doctor Who fan? I don't know if anyone here has.
No, I've
Mars
seen-
Mars's face every time.
I've seen it. I've seen a couple of past episodes. Like I'm aware of all the different doctors that there have been, but I'm not.
Right.
I'm not into Doctor Who. No.
So, what they're doing now is it is the 13th Doctor. It is the first female Doctor. Every regeneration has been another white British dude. Got kind of old. They brought in Jodie Whittaker, which she is known from Broadchurch, which is another UK show. She's a phenomenal actress, and what's also super cool about this one is they have sorry, train of thought. They have all new showrunners. So Stephen Moffat
very
is
cool.
not attached to it, which was a big thing. He was he was great for the show as a writer, but as a showrunner, a lot of people, myself included, not happy with him. I actually stopped watching the show after the 11th Doctor because the choices that he made kind of undid all the important parts of earlier stories.
Right.
So yeah, they've got new showrunners, new companions, and a new Doctor. So it's going to be kind of a whole new show. With the same, we've still got the TARDIS, we still got the sonic screwdriver. You have all the things that make it great. And what's going to be really interesting, I think that's going to be one of the first seasons. They're not bringing back any villains from the previous seasons.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's really interesting because usually you have a staple, like a Weeping Angels episode or a Dalek episode, or
I know
you
what
know,
those
you have-
are.
Weeping Angels are these horrifying statues.
The don't blink thing?
Yes.
Yes. I know something.
Yes, you know something. They are horrifying statues that are angels that as long as you're looking at them, they can't move. But if you blink, they move. If you turn your back, they move. The second you take your eyes off of them, they move, and they will either kill you or send you back in time. Depends
So
on who's
they're
written
the
the show.
Boo Ghosts from
Lovely.
Super Mario is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
Lovely.
But they're
Got it.
terrifying. When they go crazy, they have these creepy fang teeth. They're like,
I've honestly I've always wanted to check out Doctor Who, but it's one of those things. It's been on for so long. It's like, do I really have the time to sit
The good
and,
thing-
from the beginning and
I have never watched the old seasons from the 70s ever. I've never seen
Right.
Doctors 1 to 8.
Mhm.
I have no interest in it. I've only seen the new ones 9, 10, and 11, and I thought all 3 of them were great. I did not watch 12 at all because I was just so mad about things that had happened. And I was like, this is stupid, and I'm mad, and I'm done.
Right.
I get really over emotional.
Mhm.
But for somebody who wants to watch it, Eddie, and Musi or Mars, and anyone in chat who's interested in it, they actually said this at the panel. This is the perfect time to start watching.
Okay, cool.
Because
a little clean
it
slate
does-
style.
It does not tie in, as of right now, they're not tied into any of the past seasons. There's no returning villains, there's no returning companions, there's a whole new Doctor. So you're getting kind of like Doctor Who with new showrunners, new Doctor, new companions. So if
Mhm.
you're interested in the show,
Mhm.
this is the perfect time to start watching it.
Cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
So,
Awesome.
it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be really interesting. Her character is very cute and fun, and not in a stupid way. She's just very like positive and energetic, and Jodie Whittaker is like beyond excited to play this role.
Mhm.
She's the cutest thing in the world. I was like dying at the panel.
Yeah, and it's a continuing trend of which I'm enjoying of putting strong female characters in lead roles, which should have been happening decades ago. So that's awesome.
Exactly. This has been something that people have been asking for like 2 years now.
Mhm.
So it's a really good. It's a really good choice that they're making, and they went with a really good person. And we're going to transition over. I've been talking forever. I'm trying to try not to ramble too much.
No, you're all right.
You are wonderful.
Everybody's worrying too much.
I made a note of something because I think it was Vile mentioned it. It's something that I got positively triggered on because I'm a fan of it that I want to touch back on. You talked about Jack Reacher. Huge fan of Jack Reacher. I think I've read 5 or 6 of his books.
I did see this in chat, and I agree with Vile a little bit.
Now, the first Jack Reacher I actually really liked. Actually, I like both Jack Reachers. Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher, he did a good job for Tom Cruise playing Jack Reacher. That's what I will say. I actually thought he did the best job he could of embodying the character. For me, personally, it's hard to get invested in the character when one of the things about Jack Reacher is, one, he rarely talks because he's 6'5", 230 pounds. So when he walks into a diner or something, he doesn't have to talk. He just has that presence about him. And when you take 5'7" on a good day with his heels, Tom Cruise, and but he the toughness and everything, he did a great job. So yeah, I'm and Tom, I think Tom Cruise as an action star. The dude's a fountain of youth, man. I mean, the dude I don't know how old he is, and he's doing all his own stunts.
He is 56 years old. My friends and I actually looked this up after Mission Impossible the other day because we were trying to figure out who was older,
Pushing
Alec Baldwin or Tom Cruise, because Alec Baldwin is in the new Mission Impossible. So we're like, who? How many years does he have? Alec Baldwin is 60 and Tom Cruise is 56, which is crazy to think that they only got 4 years between each other.
Yes. Also a good, example. This is what happens when you like to drink scotch every night, and this is what happens when you don't. Alec Baldwin.
What's amazing about Tom Cruise just as an action star is that dude has perfect form. Like they did a lot of jokes
running.
In this mission. They kind of like made a little bit of a joke of it because there was so much running in this Mission Impossible that like they had this really emotional moment, and then he's like, "I gotta go."
Yeah, they always find a way for him to like sprint for his life in a movie, and it always looks like he's moving so fast.
Right.
And just a little Easter egg for anybody who is about to see Mission Impossible, look for the scene where Tom Cruise jumps from one building to another and nearly misses the roof, and watch how he walks after he gets back up, because that is the scene where he broke his leg in real life. He like the stunt, he landed weird and broke his leg, and he finished the shot, and the shot made it into the movie.
Nice.
I won't tell you when it's happening, but you'll notice it. He kind of like hobbles away and continues to run. He's turning into like the American Jackie Chan. Like that was Jackie Chan's thing. Like he's transitioned to the midnight phase of his career. He's not doing as many of his own stunts, but anyone who used to see Jackie Chan films in the prime, he was notorious for breaking a bone almost, because he did literally all his own stunts. And the end of all his movies would have like a gag reel of all the times he would like bonk his head or mess up a roll or something. So Tom Cruise is well headed that way. And I agree, Huggy. I agree. Keanu Reeves, John Wick, the greatest action star of all time. Don't at me. Dude's amazing. We're going to do John Wick in movie night. That's why we're going to do it in movie night at some point. That's why we're going to do it in a movie night at some point, because they're both amazing and they need to be seen by people. So,
sorry, right. Eddie. I'm sorry.
It's fine. All right. So,
Mars, you've never seen anything, though.
That's why I'm never disappointed,
I know, exactly. I just like to pick on people. I'm going to transition real quick into some gaming news that came out at Comic-Con. The coolest thing, they revealed a lot of stuff about the new Spider-Man for PS4. I know I have already pre-ordered it. I am so ready for that game. I know Eddie wants to play it but refuses to.
Well, it's going to hurt. I can't do it. It's got to stick to my stupid stance that I'm. Yeah. Anyway, it looks.
Be strong, Eddie. Be strong.
Salty, Eddie is salty.
So they revealed a new suit, which was really cool. It's called the Velocity suit. We don't really know much about it, but it's going to be really interesting. And that suit was custom created for this game. So I don't believe the Velocity suit is in any of the other games or comics or anything. It is a game suit that they made for this game, as well as the suit that we've been seeing in all the promo with the white spider on it. That suit is going to come in as a tie-in to the story, they said. Like, you are going to have a chance to create a suit. You're going to have a moment where you have to create a new suit.
Nice. I mean, every time I play these games, go with the first black suit, greatest of all time. It's the only one I ever need.
And there is the new art. So the suits that we know of so far are the classic. The white spider, which is the one that's been most of the promos. I'm assuming that that's going to come into play fairly early in the game.
Yeah.
The velocity suit, iron spider, homemade suit, the punk spidey, and the noir suit. And they said there's still probably about a dozen more in game.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be a lot of suits in this game.
I mean, especially if you start talking about the different Spider-Verse characters and Spider-Gwen and all that kind of shit. So it's
And
I bet there's a lot.
We're not playing a teenage Peter Parker in this one. They showed us the opening sequence. This game is starting with Peter Parker as an adult. He's struggling to pay bills and be Spider-Man. Kind of, it opens up with him in his apartment. You see this past due bill, and he kind of is like, do I want to deal with this? Yeah, they did say 30 suits. Sorry. Dorito, they did say 30 suits. There's going to be a lot of suits in this game, and that's going to be really cool. And each suit has its own kind of ability attached to it.
Very cool.
And it's going to be interesting to be playing an adult Peter Parker as well. And he's going to rely on, we have Mary Jane, which, if I remember correctly, somebody in chat can correct me, she's going to be playable in this game.
Oh, cool.
There's going to be a playable Mary Jane. I may be wrong on that.
Very cool.
A bunch of villains. We're going to see, Green Goblin, a bunch of the classics. But it's kind of going to be a new Spider-Man. We're not playing like young Peter Parker. So it makes sense that there's so many suits because he's probably like in his mid-20s. Like he's been Spider-Man for a decade probably.
Years, yeah.
And I do know that that Miles Morales, who is the current Spider-Man.
Miles is
in the comics there's two Spider. You've got grown Peter Parker, and then you've got Miles Morales, who is kind of like their attempt at, he's the teenage, young, kind of, awkward age Spider-Man. So, but he is going to be in the game too. I don't know how that works out. That makes me super excited for it, even though I can't.
They showed us some footage. So. It looks really cool. I don't want to say too much because, it's going to be really cool to experience it. But there was a scene with Peter, Mary Jane, and Miles.
Very cool.
Which looked really cool.
Very neat. Very neat.
And then two quick things. I think then I'm done. We can throw to, I believe, Musie's next. Kingdom Hearts 3 demo. I don't know if anyone here is big on Kingdom Hearts 3. Mm-hmm. I know people are, but they had two different ways you could play it. You could play the Herculean version or the Toy Story. I chose to do Toy Story. The gameplay, super smooth, a lot of fun. In Toy Story, you get like this supercharged like Buzz Lightyear hammer that like can smash floors. So there's a lot of cool features that they're adding. I watched a couple people play the Herculean version. I'm not sure what changes they're gonna make. It was like a 10-minute demo, so there wasn't a lot to go off of, and it was kind of like not story based. It was just these two worlds, and you get to play as a robot in the Toy Story one. You get to go into like these Megazord robots.
Zords. Mecha.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't think it's Megazord. I forget the name of it. They just kind of look like Megazord.
No, yeah, it's close enough. It's fine. As
long as Zero to Hero is playing in the background, I'm fine.
It was a great game. I think everybody who's a Kingdom Hearts fan is going to really, really love what we've all been waiting like a decade for. It's going to be great. And the other demo I got to play was Tomb Raider. I only got to play a few minutes of it because then the power at the offsite went out.
Oh no.
Didn't get to do a lot of it. It was a lot of fun. The graphics were absolutely freaking beautiful. Like some of the most beautiful PC graphics I think I've ever seen.
Nice.
Super, super smooth gameplay. The only thing that I really had an issue with is it's very, very, very dark. It was very hard to see anything in the game.
Like literally. Again, I was like, oh, that's
no, visually dark. I was in this cave and trying to jump from one platform to another, and I couldn't see the platform.
Oh, jeez.
Huh,
yeah, so I'm assuming that there's probably a setting you can adjust. You obviously can't do it on a demo,
right?
Or that's something that they're going to fix up before the game comes out. That's really the only bad thing. Otherwise, the story looks like it's going to be really cool, and the gameplay is almost perfect, like very, very smooth, easy to move around, easy to get around. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a lot of the really cool stuff that I saw at Comic-Con that I thought most of you would be kind of interested in. And
Cool.
Awesome.
I believe we are throwing to our featured member of the week video,
Yes, we
Mr.
are.
Harry Wizard Gaming.
Yes, we are. Just give me a second. Maybe 2 seconds. Possibly 3 seconds. Hush. Stop it. Okay.
Yes, I survived. Ah. 9 ball, side pocket, game, blouses. Oh wait, no, I got on me. 3 on me. Oh, I see him. Oh shit.
And that is our man, Harry Wizard, over at Harry Wizard Gaming. Super cool dude, super hilarious, as you can see.
funny
Perfect
guy.
example of
Love it.
a lot of fun to play with. A lot of check his stream out, dude. Dude's a ton of fun. So awesome. All right, so
And just, I didn't see any pens go up while I was rambling about stuff. I just want to make sure nobody had anything to add because I felt like I cut people off.
no,
No, you were good.
Okay,
I'm good.
we're good.
Cool. So I'm going to be doing the stream tip of the week, and my actual tip has nothing to do with actually streaming, but more so what you guys do off stream before you stream to make sure that you guys are sharp and, you know, are prepared and know what you guys are doing. I think the biggest thing when you're doing a stream is always to be able to plan ahead. Making sure you plan ahead your stream, make sure you know what you want to game. If your game is not going to work out, you have like a backup game. You know, stream with some intent, know what you want to portray in your stream. Make sure you plan some breaks, make sure you stay hydrated, have some snacks, know how you're feeling for the day, know how you want to go forward into your stream, you know, mentally, physically, what have you. Consider how long you're going to play and try and keep to your schedule. Huggy does have a question for you real quick.
that's fine. I can do it now, or if you want to go ahead and finish.
You can do it
that's
now
fine.
if you want.
I mean, it's
Before
a
we-
superhero
I get
related
too
question.
heavy
You know
into
I'm
it.
not going to forget about it. So
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
yeah. So
Fine.
Huggy's question was, do you think Spider-Man will lead to developers making a Superman game? Real quick, no. The problem with making a Superman game is it's very hard to make a game where someone who is essentially invincible, make that fun to play. Which I know it'd be fun to fly around as Superman, and much like it's fun to swing around as Spider-Man, and that would be really cool. But eventually, you know, you got to have stuff for him to do. Shout out to Superman 64, which was trash. But Rachel, you had a point you want to add about that? Real
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't think it's going to lead to that for the same exact reasons you do. There's something like not entertaining about playing a character that is almost invincible.
quick? Yeah, he
You
can
want-
do everything. He can do
He
everything,
can do everything.
and more importantly, Warner Brothers just isn't super focused on making DC-based video games right now outside of Batman. Then the Arkham series was fantastic. I mean, if you want to play a great superhero game, I recommend those, especially
But
Arkham Knight. But
that's really the only wildly successful DC game lately outside of
Right.
maybe Injustice, which is more of a fighter than a game. Like if you want a story-based game, definitely go to Arkham. I don't think we're going to be seeing a Superman game anytime soon. And I also, this has nothing to do with what Huggy said, but I just noticed this comment from Cross Planet Coop. He goes, if I wanted to see a past due bill, I would just check my rent. I want to swing between buildings, damn it. You will be able to swing between buildings. I don't believe the rent is going to be part of the story. It was just kind of to set up where Peter is in his life. He kind of has this moment of, and then he, you know, goes and jumps out the window and decide he's like, I'm
Bill
going to be
Online play
Spider-Man.
minigame. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, Mars, go ahead.
Continue.
Okay. So the whole what you do off stream to make sure that you're sharp on stream, definitely being prepared. Again, trying to consider how long you guys want to play for and try to keep to your schedule. Sometimes people have the tendency to get caught up either in their chat or I guess feel pressured because their chat is going so well or because they have so many numbers. But what this actually can do if you guys go past your schedule is it can make you very mentally fatigued, which, you know, your energy can drop. You might think that you're still doing well because the numbers are there, but it might be more detrimental to you in the long run if you mess up your sleep schedule, if you're not focused on, you know, proper hydration, if you're skipping dinner because you think you need to stay on stream because it's going so well. Sticking to your schedule is a very big thing that I've noticed from a lot of streamers that I've talked to, big and small, to try and make sure that you guys are mentally, you know, sound in what you're trying to do. Physically wise, you know, making sure that you guys are having proper exercise, eating as healthy as you possibly can, making sure that on stream, if you know you're going to be streaming for a prolonged period of time, having snacks and taking regular breaks could also help. Having proper posture, you know, sitting up straight, you know, your shoulders back and not, you know, hunched over like this to where your back is going to be, you know, stuck when you move like an 80-year-old man getting out of your chair.
Everyone fixes their posture.
Yeah, everyone sits up nice and tall.
Yes.
Nice and tall. Trying to keep things as neutral and natural as possible. So, you know, if you have your desk in front of you, making sure that your arms are comfortable, your wrist is comfortable, you're not overstretching or even understretching to where like your arms are back. Just making sure that you're sitting in the most natural and comfortable position for you will also help you just in noticing that your body fatigue, because you also have to realize you guys are sitting for a prolonged period of time. And, you know, our bodies aren't meant to be sitting for such long periods. So getting up in the middle of your stream, taking a break, walking down the hall and coming back, just stretching your legs, going to get a glass of water will definitely help you, you know, not feel so stiff. I noticed, you know, having a proper chair is also very beneficial. My chair, if you lean too far to the right, is probably going to break because it's that old. Eventually, I would like to get a better chair, but they have gaming chairs that you can look into that do have lumbar support, are nice and high in the back. If you look at Muse's chair, Muse has a perfect example of a good gaming chair, you know, nice and tall in the back. Some of them recline if you feel like taking a nap midstream. No one's going to judge you. Look, perfect.
Exactly.
Perfect.
There you go.
Perfect. Beautiful. Having that proper chair, having, you know, just again, making sure that you're comfortable so that you're not physically fatigued. Making sure, again, with exercise, if you go and take a walk, 30-minute walk for the day, go take your dogs outside or just go enjoy the fresh air, not being so cooped up in one room, making sure that if you are playing very labor-intensive games that you are doing proper like wrist and hand exercises, so you don't, you know, try to minimize any type of hand tension, carpal tunnel that, you know, we're very prone to getting because we're all are heavy gamers. Just making sure that you're doing everything that you can to keep yourself physically sound. And if you're physically sound, it also aids into your mental soundness, getting proper sleep, again, making sure you stick to that schedule. Don't do like me and stay up till 3:30 in the morning. It's not healthy, I promise you. You know, just making sure you
Eddie.
Or
I was going to
5:30.
say.
Yeah, or
That's also
5:30.
not- it's not.
The latest I've done was 9 a.m. Don't recommend. Definitely not top 10 on my list of recommendations. So making sure your mental breaks are there, your physical breaks are there are very important. And also knowing when to not stream if you're not feeling okay is also a very big thing. If you are sick and feel like you don't even want to go to your computer, make an announcement and don't go to your computer. Don't push yourself outside of your physical comfort zone as well as your mental comfort zone, because again, you're just going to end up being the burnt out one. Your viewers honestly do have other people that they do watch. I'm sorry, you're not, you know, it's just the truth. Everyone watches a little bit of everybody's streams, or, you know, some people pop around to different streamers, and that's okay. You don't have to feel like you need to put yourself outside of a safety zone physically or mentally for them, because they'd rather watch you at your best. So don't put yourself at risk for that, you know, for really anybody, because you have to be sound when you're playing your game, when you're streaming, when you're having your talk, whatever kind of stream you want to do. You have to be at your best. And if you want to give out that, you know, proper content and that quality content, you want to be at your best as well. So knowing when you're mentally and physically okay is a very big part of it. All that stuff aside, being prepared with your actual stream equipment is also very important. Making sure you have a proper overlay for your game. I know a couple of my overlays have covered either my Siege operators or the Rocket League score. Making sure that you are trying to be prepared in that sense for what game you are playing, either tailoring where you put your overlays, where you put your camera, whether, again, if you want to stream with a camera or without a camera, depending on the gameplay that you want to get, just making sure that you're prepared all the way around to make sure that you are pushing forward the best quality content that you're happy with. I don't know if you guys have any tips on how you guys prepare for your streams. If any of you want to, jump in, feel free. Go ahead, Rachel.
This isn't necessarily about preparing, but just to kind of build on what you're saying is if you're not like on top of your game, sometimes we'll start our streams and have a really good run of games and then we start getting really tilted. That's not usually very fun for people to watch. Like if you're just getting really upset and angry, it happens sometimes. If you take 5, take a breather, walk it off, come back and you're still not feeling it, it's okay to end your stream early. It's okay to end your stream at that point. You don't have to play another round. If you come back and you're like, you know what, still not feeling it, really don't want a game, I'm gonna end it, like that's okay. And it's better content than just like sitting there and like getting mad at your game.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I know, Eddie, you had something to add?
Oh, yeah, I can add something. I was just honestly experimenting with my question device. But yeah, but Hoema did have a question regarding camera angles, and I did want to add 2 seconds about that. Something I try to get in the habit of is I always, on days I know I'm going to stream, and this doesn't always happen, I always just try to open up slobs or whatever you use, like maybe a couple hours before, because a lot of times I'll have a last minute update or something like that. I know Streamlabs OBS is always dropping hot fixes and stuff, and it could kind of just throw you off. Sometimes you're like sitting there waiting for it to update and whatever versus being ready to go, that sort of thing. And another thing I did want to add is definitely sticking to your schedule. And this is kind of a different subject completely, but it made me think of it is, don't, like you said, don't be afraid to end your stream early or end your stream when you want to, but also keep in mind maybe like to have like a little bit of a stream etiquette. You know what I mean? Like let's say for instance you're like, okay, I'm gonna get off, this is last match, and you get rated by like 15 people, right? Me personally, okay, so I'm gonna go for at least another 15 minutes because someone took the time to raid me with all these viewers. Someone might enjoy what I'm watching, so I'm gonna keep going. Like and in my head, it's kind of like I honestly go on like a viewer equals a minute thing. So like 15, I get rated by 50 people. I'm going to stay for 15 minutes. If I get rated by 50 people, which I have before, I was probably on for close to an hour, and it you don't always have to do it that way. That's just kind of the way I do it. But, that's, and if something happens, things always happen. If you really have to get off, that's fine. And if you get rated by like 2 or 3 people, say, hey, thanks for the raid. I'm going to go ahead and get off here in a few minutes. But just, that's stream etiquette. And Muzi, you had something you wanted to add with your lovely
Well, I wanted to add and touch on some stuff I see Huggy talking about.
Sure.
So in addition to like if you're to go off of what Slot was saying, if you are raging on a game and you're not feeling it anymore, you can end your stream or you can change games. There's always that option too.
Absolutely.
Go from something serious like Siege to something super silly or whatever and
like
have
stick death.
fun. Exactly. Exactly.
Stick fight. I keep calling it stick death.
Well,
it's great.
Stick that's what I mean for it. So, to touch on things Huggy's talking about, he was asking if you cry on stream, should you log off of stream or stay on stream and cry? It really depends on the situation. I mean, if you are not in a good mental spot, it's okay to say, guys, I'm sorry, I've got to go take care of me, and sign off. Now, if you're playing a game that brings you to tears, it's totally okay to cry. Like, that's not a big deal. It shows, so it depends on the situation. And if you're in a place where you are just crying, maybe you should reevaluate, like Mars and everybody's been saying, like if you're not feeling it that day, don't force yourself to stream. Because it's not going to do you any good mentally, physically, emotionally, and your viewers aren't going to respond well either. Absolutely. So that goes into what Huggy was saying is he says it's all good to do mental breaks and stuff, but if you're a partner and making money on subs and stuff, you can't take a break. This is not true.
Definitely not true. Definitely
not true. Absolutely.
There are partnered streamers that have been going through issues. They will take a month off if they need to. They'll take a week off. They'll take a few days off. Because if you're to a point, especially of being a partner, those subs are going to come back. You're not going to lose them just because you decide that you need a mental health day. A mental health day is always going to be better than losing subs. If you lose subs because of that, then you didn't want them there anyway.
Absolutely. I agree.
Agreed.
So that's really.
Rachel, I see you have something to add?
Yeah, I'm just going to build on what Musi said.
Sure.
Like she said, subs, if they're subbing to you, they want to be there to watch you, but they want to be there to watch you because you're enjoying it and you're enjoying what you're doing and you're enjoying the games that you're playing. And if you're not feeling it, it might actually make them not want to resub later on down the line because they're like, oh, well, when I subbed to them, they were this super like fun streamer, and now they're just kind of like going through the motions. So you should always take a break if you feel like you need to, even if it's just a day. Even if you end your stream in the middle of the day, take like a 2-hour nap and then you want to come back later. Like, whatever you need to do. But just because they're subbing to you and paying to watch you doesn't mean that you are required to abide to like the schedule that they want from you. You still need to take care of yourself. You're still a human being off of stream as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
sorry.
Just real quick. Peggy's talking about that subs are fickle and that they pay for you to stream and they want to see an investment. Yes and no. They want to, but a lot of people sub because they want to support, and that's different. If they're there to truly support you and they're subbing to support you, they would much rather you take that time off. Because they're there for you. So I think Huggy,
I actually have a perfect example of what you're trying to say.
You're I think looking at things perhaps the wrong way, or maybe you are following someone that's partnered that feels that way, and that's not actually the case.
Yeah, I have a perfect example of what Muse was trying to say. There is a partnered streamer that I do follow. You guys have all seen my penguin emotes and my dragon emotes. This particular streamer took off for about probably 3 to 5 months to make sure that he was okay mentally. And the day that he started streaming again is actually the day that I found him playing. And his you couldn't even really see the game that he was playing because he had so many people resubbing to him. Again, not everyone just streams just for your content. They stream to support you as a person. The whole point of trying to entertain people and be a streamer is, yes, sure, some people want to see you be good at the game. Some people just like you because you're trash at a game and they think it's funny. But at the end of the day, they're coming for your personality that's carrying your stream. Right. So I think you trying to view it as, these people are paying to see my content, but in reality, they're just trying to support you. And if you're not okay, you're not going to be giving them the content that they're quote unquote investing in. And again, like Splacehaven said, don't be afraid to experiment. If you're not having fun playing games or any types of streams that you're doing, don't be afraid to experiment with new games. Don't be afraid to experiment with something new entirely. I know Splice, in particular, wasn't enjoying having, a lot of game-oriented streams. So he's been doing stuff like we're doing now, just sitting and having an IRL stream and having a, kind of discussion. And I know he's been enjoying it. You can't be afraid to experiment, but the bottom line of all of this, whether it's being prepared mentally, physically, or really electronically with your stream, is it boils down to you. And if you're okay, and if you're feeling okay, to even do what you want to do. If you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying yourself, people are going to notice. And they're going to notice exactly the opposite if you are having fun and you are enjoying yourself. So don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to, go outside your comfort zone a little bit, especially just like Eddie said, the stream etiquette. If someone raids you, again, I know I mentioned trying to stick to a schedule, but you got to use your best judgment for you. I know I said don't go 3 hours over. If you think that you can go 3 hours over and be okay, by all means, go 3 hours over. Again, it's just your personal judgment, but it all boils down to you at the end of the day, whether or not you're okay to stream. I know a couple of you have definitely come to me, asking to talk more so on mental health. And of course, I'm not a mental health counselor, but at the end of the day, if you're not okay, you're not going to be giving out the content that people are going to want to see. So you really need to take care of yourself first because you're human. So again, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. Yep. But you just got to take the best judgment for yourself, because really no one's going to take care of yourself better than you are. So Rachel, I see you want to have something to add.
I actually want to build on what Violet actually just said in chat, because I know Baggy already answered this in chat and said all of us have those feelings. He said sometimes I feel like I'm not that great of a streamer. I guarantee you everybody in this chat, in this video chat, and this talk show has had that feeling. I had that feeling this past week. You know, you notice. Usually, I try and stream every day. I think I streamed twice this week, so I was just not feeling it. I was like, you know what? I haven't been on my game lately. I haven't, and I had this like, maybe I'm like just not cut out for streaming, and I just got in that mindset. It's really hard to not think like that, but what's really important is if you enjoy it, if you have fun with the games you're playing, you have fun with the people in your chat. It doesn't matter if it's only 2 people. You have fun with the content you're putting out, then you're a good streamer.
Yep.
That's really what it comes down to. As
Absolutely.
long as you are enjoying this content that you are putting out, it doesn't matter if there's 2 people or 40 people or 1,000 people in there. It all comes down to, because there are some people that are like partnered or pros that like I don't consider them the greatest streamers. Like I don't enjoy watching them, but they still have like 5,000, 10,000 people in their stream. I don't get it. I don't think that they're the greatest streamer, but those people enjoy it, and those people are, and the person creating that content they're creating.
Absolutely.
So I think that's more what to focus on, is just enjoy the content you create, and that's what makes you a good streamer.
I know we also have a comment here from Hoenma and Splice about how to do your setup beforehand. Hoenma touched upon pre-stream having your camera angles. You know, he said to make sure everything in your camera's view is somewhat, I guess, cleanish, more so like organized or everything. It really depends on how you want to do. Some people, you know, just let them do them. Like if they want to have a room that's messy, let them have a room that's messy. Again, just like Rachel said, you know, you might not think that they're the best streamer, but I guarantee you there is somebody out there in the Twitchverse that's going to want to watch you who hasn't found you yet, or is just busy and making their way to you. There's always going to be someone that likes you, but you have to like you too.
Exactly.
Splice even touched upon having making sure you have proper lighting set up, your green screen set up if you do in fact use one, at least an hour or so beforehand, so that you're not scrambling to start your stream and then realize that none of your equipment is working. Again, being prepared, making sure that you guys have the best setup for you, and experiment with your setup. If you want to have your green screen over here, if you don't want to have a green screen, or if you want to have your camera here, or if I want to take it and move it to this side. Again, all tailored to you, but you want to make sure that you guys have that done at least 30 minutes beforehand, again, so you're not scrambling. I know a couple of times I've been on stream where I literally came home from work, thought that I had to start on time because I told people, hey, I was going to start at 7 and it was like 7:15. I scrambled in here. I didn't even have my game's resolution proper. So I thought I looked super derpy on screen, but like, whatever. But again, if you guys have that 30 minutes to start beforehand, make sure everything's okay. And if you are behind, just, you know, let your people know and take the time you need to make sure that you're prepared and ready. I think that's definitely another thing, just being prepared and making sure, again, that everything is to your liking before you start.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rach,
are you okay? What happened?
Are you okay? I was going to say, do you see something that I'm not seeing because I'm looking here? What happened?
I looked at my pen because I wanted to add on to the lighting thing, and then it fell out of my hand.
Go right ahead, Rachel.
The mouse like ran by your like that's like the reaction it was. I was like, did she?
Nope, I did this and I went to go like that. It just flipped out of my hand. Also, if you use natural light, that's okay. Just be aware of your lighting settings. Like I know for me, you guys probably just saw it in the last like 15 minutes or so. Between like 6:30 to 7, the way my stuff is set up, my window is here. And I am facing like dead west. So between like 6:30 and 7, I have a lot of sunlight come in there. And what I forget to do a lot, I do this a lot, is I'll start like a stream at like 6 and I forget to close my blinds. Like I always need to close my blinds by 6 if I'm going to stream, because otherwise I get blown out and I just like, there's glares. So just also helps to be aware of like your physical surroundings and how that affects your lighting, because you know, like little things like that. And like I said, I forget to close my blinds all the time. You just saw that. But little things like that just to be aware of. It's not necessarily scrambling or set up, but just, you know, like a mental note. Oh, gotta close my blinds, gotta make sure like my lamp is on, or
something important that Luchimite said. He was touching off of what you said, Rachel, saying that if you're not feeling it the next day, he ends his stream, but he comes back the next day strong. Just because you have a bad stream, and I'm not saying that your stream is even bad, but we're all our own worst critics. If you feel you're having a bad stream, end it if you want, or like you said, try a different game. It might just be what you're playing that day. Maybe, you know, Siege isn't cut out for you that day, or Rocket League's just not your game. try something different. But again, if you feel like you need to end your stream, don't let that prevent you from coming back the next day.
Exactly.
Coming back even stronger. And another thing that was said, surrounding yourself with very good people that are, you know, positive and healthy for you. Don't feel like you need to hang out with anybody that maybe just doesn't promote growth in you in a positive manner. And I know Splice said this before, it was scrolled up a little bit. You know, just having that support behind you and having the good people and saying like, oh, you know, I thought today that I wasn't a good streamer, but then I squashed that feeling. You know, having the proper support behind you with other people definitely helps. And really just taking the time to work internally to make sure that you're, you know, you're mentally behind yourself too, because you know, any support that you're going to get from anybody else really isn't going to matter unless you support yourself. You're going to have to want to come back the next day. You're going to have to want to be the best that you can be. And if you're not enjoying it, you know, fix the things that you can fix and learn to accept the things that you can't.
And don't
and just move forward.
Yeah, like exactly what I was just about to say. Don't linger on if you had quote unquote a bad stream. Like we all have our own standards of what a bad stream is. But if you had a bad stream yesterday, don't linger on that for today. Don't be like, oh, sorry, yesterday sucked, like this, and that. Just be like, yeah, we're here. Like today's a new day. Super excited to stream, and just try and take that. Don't linger on the things that you think didn't work. Just do what you know did.
Exactly. So just you know, a quick wrap up, unless any of you guys have anything to add afterwards. Planning ahead again, electronically, making sure that your overlays are set, making sure that your green screen, proper lighting, all your game resolutions, your game updates, make sure all your games are updated before you stream. That's a good thing that I was thinking and I completely left out, and I was like, I hope this comes back to me. Make sure your game updates are done before you want to stream so that you don't look derpy on your stream like I tend to do sometimes. I'll be sitting there and I'm like, oh, filler game while this finishes. Make sure that you definitely have all those updates done, all the overlays, chats working, any bots that you may use, make sure that they're updated and working properly. Make sure that you post in any of the social medias that you want to, the Discords that you want to, that you are going live. Physically, make sure that you're, you know, eating as healthy as you can, or at least just eat something. You know, make sure you're eating. You know, don't starve yourself. You have to have brain food. Sleeping properly, getting some form of exercise in, you know, stretches, making sure that everything that you're really using on stream is functioning properly and not stiff. It will help, I promise. Yeah, do all the lifts and, you know, whatever you want to do, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do the Vogue. You're fine. And I guess, you know, regardless of all those things aside, just mentally, make sure you're okay, mentally, physically, everything you could possibly think of, because again, these people are here to see you. So you want to be the best you. Again, as a streamer, don't try to be the best streamer, just try to be the best you that you can be. So unless you guys have anything to add, that's really all that I have for you.
Yeah, I think that's great.
So,
That's good.
I think we're good.
yeah. Cool. So I'm going to head it over to music because she's got Twitch approved music, I believe she's talking about.
Yeah,
tonight.
talk about music. So I'll be honest, I was finalizing my prep today and I discovered something that I was really excited about, and then I started to panic because I was like, I can't get all of this in. So we'll talk about as much of it as I can, and then I want to do a kind of a follow-up, and I'll explain why. But music used in streams is becoming more and more of a topic, and a lot of that is because Twitch has grown so much more that it's finally getting on people's radars about the use of music with
Copyright infringement. Yep.
Exactly, copyright infringement, and that's the issue. And so you may have seen where streamers are getting hit with DMCA strikes, if you will. And there's a lot of like misinformation going around with that as well. So I want to try to help clear up some stuff. Copyright's one of those things that it's simple, but it's complicated. And so we're going to just kind of touch on it best we can. And after stream in resources, I will have some links for you guys to check out for all the stuff I'm talking about. So
Awesome.
Don't worry about that.
Sure.
First, I want to talk about a little bit, not only just playing music in the background, but also there may be some people here that like to do music on stream, doing covers of songs and DJing, or I've seen people talk about, let's do karaoke. when you start doing performance of stuff, you start getting a little iffy as well. It's not just plain, you know, T Swift in the background while you play Stick Death, you know. So
It's a new name of that game.
Stick Death. It makes me
It's
happy.
perfect. It's fun.
So what you can do, you can definitely stream you creating your own original music. That's totally fine because you, at the end of the day, you own the rights to that work. That's your work. You can sing your own original songs or play your own original songs and broadcast that because, again, you are the creator of that that property. Karaoke, no, you really can't stream that. It is flat out against community guidelines for Twitch. I don't know if anybody knew that, but it is, as well as trying to use your stream like a radio station.
Mm-hmm.
And then singing covers isn't really okay either. And actually, I saw both sides on Twitch, and it's funny because one side's like, you can do it if it doesn't include any parts of the original song. For example, like the instrumental, like a certain beat or something. Like you can't have that in there.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other side, in their community guidelines, they're like, that was in the community guidelines. In their frequently asked questions, it's a definite no. So something to think about. You may not get hit with a DMCA on it. You may definitely get muted on stream for that, or for the VODs. And the DJing part is definitely a no, because again, unless it's your own music that you're DJing, you don't have the rights to be playing those pieces, even samples from those, because it's still taking creative property and using it and basically trying to claim it as your own. Not that you intend to do that, but that's how it's seen upon. So that is some stuff to definitely think about. Sorry, I have really tiny notes.
No, you're fine. I know we have a couple questions here. I think both
Yeah.
Rachel and Mars have some. Rachel, I think you had your pen raised first. If you wanna
Sure, go ahead.
Mine's not so much a question. I'm just going to kind of build on a little bit of copyright stuff that Musi was talking about, because I did study it in school a little bit. When I was doing music management, and I had to take a whole class on it. So there's, like you said, they say it in the TOS. You can use like the original music as long as you don't like necessarily change. Like if you're creating a cover, that is cover that you are actually, I don't know in terms of Twitch, but if we're talking general copyright, you're allowed to do that as long as you're not changing like the intellectual meaning of the song. Like you can't take a song about one thing and completely change the lyrics to be something else. That's when you kind of lose. That's when copyright becomes an issue. And also, as long as you don't use more than 15 seconds of a song, you're not infringing on copyright. So those are just two little things. So like parodies and covers are both covered under copyright law. You are allowed to do those as long as you don't change like the intellectual property. You can't like change the musical pitch of things and stuff. You can kind of make it your own, but you just have to keep like the core fundamentals of the music. So I don't know, this was a long time ago. I don't know if like copyright laws have changed, but that's just a little 2 cents of what I know.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Mars?
My question is more so, not so much on the actual usage of the music, but how do they keep track of the actual people that stream in the music section, like the actual performers that are performing? Like if they're doing covers or what have you.
Much like YouTube, they actually have a system built in that recognizes.
It's all automated, yeah.
Yeah. And in addition to that, too, if some of the labels, from what I was reading, they actually will have people that will go randomly check certain stuff if they think or have had mentioned that there could potentially be some copyright infringement going on. They can go in and see if there is. And technically, the only ones that have the right to file for a DMCA, for a takedown, are the people that have the rights to it. So, like, I couldn't go into Eddie's stream and be like, dude, you're playing this song, it doesn't belong to you. I couldn't file that
Yeah.
complaint against him.
Sure.
I could at most like turn him into someone who does have the rights.
Mm-hmm.
But most people aren't going to probably go to the effort to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah, it's basically the thing that you got to look out for is not using like the instrumental tracks and stuff for that. And so the karaoke and covering of music, lip syncing stuff, which is fun, impersonations, it can't be the main focus of what you're streaming.
Okay.
So you're definitely like, if you are purposefully like doing karaoke and like doing all the music exactly like it's done, you're infringing on those copyright laws and on that intellectual property. So with that said,
I have seen a musician on a couple of musicians on stream who have, you know, they basically just ask their chat like, what songs do you want to hear, and then they'll go grab their guitar and start playing it, and then they'll sing it. Like, is that okay or not okay? I feel like that's very iffy.
That would constitute a cover, right? Because
Okay.
they're and so that would whatever their language is for the cover. That's, you know, and I said because there was a very good question here because I'm curious about this question. Luch might ask.
Sure.
Yeah, I want to know.
Does that mean that people that stream Just Dance, could that be a strike against them because of the songs, or no? Because that's a very good point, because Just Dance uses that, or like Guitar Hero even.
I
any
think
game that uses licensed
Wouldn't the
music.
game have the rights to it though?
Yeah, I think Mars is
That's
right.
a
I
good
think
point.
the game would have the
Yeah.
rights, so
So then
those
you'd be okay.
you'd be.
so the game has
okay.
the rights for one, and for two, the content that you're producing isn't related to the music. You're playing the game, right? So it's kind of like any soundtrack on any game could technically, you know, if they really wanted to be a butt, they could go after you because that music is copyrighted to the game. And you know, there are times that even parts of games will get muted and it's not even the music, it's the game.
Right.
Yeah, that has sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That
No,
happened to
you're
me when
good.
I was playing Far Cry 5, I think. Like, there was music in the background, and this was before I even knew about VOD muting. Like, I went in to watch my VODs, and like a good chunk of it was muted because Far Cry, I think it was Far Cry or something, had a copyrighted song in it. But I don't have the copyright, and Twitch doesn't have the copyright, so Twitch muted the VOD. And I was like, but it's like part of the game. Like, it's just
Right.
yeah, that's one of those iffy things. You never know what. And I assume if you do get flagged, but first of all, you get a warning before you get banned. And then even if you do get banned, because most of these things are done by bots, you can file an appeal like with them and be like, look, I was playing a game. It wasn't me. Like, I wasn't you creating something based off of your content. It's part of the game that I was playing. And most of those things will get appealed because like that's like a bot issue more than it is you.
Exactly. Huggy brought up that Twitch leans favor towards partners so they can run music without any strikes. Technically, that's not true. The only thing that's keeping it is that basically it hasn't been caught yet. That's the only thing. They could just as easily get a strike. And the way Twitch does it and YouTube does it as well, it's, I think, 3 strikes, you're out type of deal.
Yes.
And then so you get a few times, and like Slot was saying, you can appeal. So it just depends on what's going on. Luch Mite's asking about background music, or New York is, excuse me. Sorry, New York. No, I mean, technically it's not, because it's still
music playing. So
you don't have the rights to it. That being said, you have to have what they call a sync license, SYNC, a sync license, because in order to put music to a video, that license allows you to provide that on your video content. So that includes, if you're making YouTube videos, that includes your live streams. And if you do that, then you have the permissions to do that. That being said, you can't get, I really don't think there's that many global ones. Slot would probably know this better. It's mainly more for like individual songs or individual labels. And is up, my dear.
Just this is going to be real quick, and then Mars can go because I think she was before me. But this.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I missed the pencil. I'm sorry.
The thing is, it's also certain labels are more strict about it than others. Right now, the problem that people are having specifically is with Interscope label music. Interscope has always had a hard line on this. They've always been like this. They were like it with YouTube. they do not want anybody using their music.
Back
so
to the
most
Napster
things,
days, I remember Interscope being.
Yeah.
Anyone don't
Interscope's-
remember Napster?
Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
back in Napster, LimeWire, Interscope
Yep.
has always had a hard line on this stuff. So that's where most of these warnings and bans and issues have been coming from. It is from Interscope Music. Not to say that other labels won't do it, and not to say that you're safe with those labels and not Interscope. It's kind of hit or miss, but that is the biggest. That is the biggest one right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mars.
I saw Snuggles had a question like about stating in chat or the video that you don't have rights to the music. I know some places, as long as you state that you don't have rights, are genuinely sometimes okay with it, but I feel like a majority of them are not. And then PackBeast also had a question stating, what about Twitch supported bots that allow auto DJing?
Right. So to the first question, no. It's nice to give them credit, and you should always give credit to the artist. But that doesn't give you a free pass.
Correct.
Because I mean, if we think about it, fundamentally, what we're doing is when we have music in our stream, or if we're performing music, we're trying to make it our content, and we don't have that right to just take somebody's content and say this is mine. You'll see that a lot on Twitter, where digital artists and their stuff gets taken and it's not credited. And somebody's like, hey, look what I did, and it's like, no, this person did, not you. And so you got to think of it that way. And I know a lot of times we just want our music because music is
it's good
that
when
international thing that makes us feel good.
And it's also good when sometimes, you get focused on your game, you're not looking at chat, you're not really talking. It's good to fill the silence with it.
Exactly.
But there are downfalls, and just in terms of copyright laws, again, things with Twitch are different because they have their own TOS, but general copyright laws, it doesn't matter if you state that you don't have the rights. You're technically infringing on copyright. It makes no
They'll be like, okay, cool, thanks for supporting the artist in that way, but you still don't own it.
This is still not cool.
Still not yours.
Yeah.
But if you had that sync license and paid for that, that's a different story.
Which again, those are more individual than global. Like, you can't just be like, I'm going to get all the music from this company. You kind of have to. And it's not cheap, and it's not easy to get that kind of stuff.
No, because they don't want that going out. So we short it to DMCA. It stands for the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. It's actually been around since 1998, so it's nothing new. It's nothing different. As far as Twitch goes, nothing has changed in their TOS about it. Again, the reason why it's coming to light more and more is because more people are like, oh, hey, Twitch is a thing. And so the labels are like, oh, this is a thing we need to be paying attention to.
Right.
It's always Interscope.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's fine. I'm not bitter.
Not at all. No, it's fine. And so if you think somebody may be like, well, they're muting my VOD, I'm safe. Twitch isn't muting your VOD for your safety. They're muting it for their safety. Because there's a whole thing about being safe haven. Is that what they refer to it as? Gosh dang, my brain isn't. I know I have safe harbor.
Yes.
It's a clause in the DMCA that allows service providers, in our case Twitch, to protect themselves from their users uploading content that is infringing their rights. So if they don't do that, then they lose that protection for themselves, and then they can get in trouble.
They can also be accused of endorsing the fact that you're using it to create money or income, or you're infringing. That if they don't mute it, they're saying, hey, we're cool with you infringing on copyrights. So it's all for their protection.
Exactly. And I'm not ignoring the auto DJ thing. I'm putting it off because I will talk about what you can do instead. So we talked about DMCA, what the claims are, how that works. A lot of people like to do song requests because it's kind of fun. It's fun for the viewers. It's can be fun for the streamer. But you honestly are putting yourself at risk because, again, as we're kind of hammering in here, you don't have the rights to those songs. Now, that's not to say that you can't do music. There is music out there that you can use. Now, Now, Twitch, if you go to music.twitch.tv, they have an entire list of different playlists through Spotify, and some of them are on SoundCloud as well. They're good. And at the time when Twitch created this giant playlist, because there's technically one giant playlist and then like subcategories is what it is. The music library that they created at the time fit the guidelines that they needed. They worked with the artists. They had it all worked out that people had permission to use this. They haven't been necessarily following up on that. If that's changed, if a song's been added to the library that doesn't meet the criteria. So that's something to think about. But if you're using something like that, that's a no copyright playlist, you're probably better off. And there's actually some good music there. A lot of it in the Twitch music library is EDM. They do have a metal playlist it has 29 songs on it, so it's not huge, but there is one.
Variety.
And there's one called Rhymesayers. It's really rap based. So, and there's one that's kind of indie, that's more indie based. So, there are options. Did any of you get a chance to check out any of the playlists or listen to any of the music?
Like you said, you mentioned Spotify has some, because when I started streaming early on, that was something me and Lion of Roscoe were talking about, and we had both looked into that. So yeah, Spotify has them. Haven't found them on SoundCloud, although I'm sure they do, just like you said. And yeah, like you said, it ranges. A lot of it's EDM, mostly because a lot of it are small time DJs or whatever who are like, I don't care. I want.
They haven't signed with the label yet.
Right, either haven't signed with a label or they don't care because they want it to be used, in a freeware sense. And New York Gamer, I do see your question regarding Nintendo and DMCA's. I or anyone else can get to that. But yeah, so I have used them. I don't use a lot of music in my stream. I usually play a song, my stream starting soon screen for like a minute or two, and then I kind of go into whatever I'm streaming. So, although sometimes when I play Fortnite, I do like to listen to music, but I don't play a lot of Fortnite.
The only
anymore,
music
so
I've ever
really
seen you play is Guardian's soundtrack. I don't think I've seen.
And I come back to that a lot because, especially when I'm playing Fortnite, it keeps me upbeat, it keeps me happy, and keeps me from getting so tilted. Did you get the fruit fly? Did you get it?
Yeah, I got that one.
It keeps me getting too tilted. So,
I think Jono also had a very good question. What if you don't have your VODs on? Are you safe?
Sorry, go ahead.
Not really.
No, well, just because
really.
your VODs aren't on Twitch at any time can go back and look at any streamers. Now it's probably limited just because you don't have VODs on. I'm sure for a safety and what to cover their CYA, they can always go back and look at anyone's VOD. So if someone's like, hey, Jono24Y was using music and this stream on this date, they can go back to that date, they can watch the VOD, and they'll get you. So no, that's not clever, but no.
And again, the muting of the VOD isn't for your protection, it's for theirs. So even whether you have a VOD or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then Huggy's questions are, what are your thoughts on rap music played on stream, especially those with heavy slurs?
Personal preference on the streamer.
Well, I mean, music's
that
music.
And just
your
personal judgment. Are you going to be playing rap music that has a lot of racial slurs in them? You're probably not going to be doing, too hot on the approval scale of your music choice.
To be honest, hip hop music is treated like any other music. It's treated like language, and So the answer to your question is it's not going to be banned. Whether or not it should be banned is a matter of personal preference. But as far as Twitch considers, they're more concerned about where the label is attached to instead of because it's being put out by a studio. Then obviously it passes the seal of approval. Now, if you're talking about some like underground type shit or like whatever, or some metal that might be like leaning like, I don't know, like neo-Nazi or something like that, that might be a different story. I don't know, but like for the most part, no, it's not an issue.
If you want to play a song that has like a lot of slurs or question, if it's something that you question, there are clean versions of every song. So if it is something that you're concerned about or that you want to play but you don't know how like that kind of language will come across on stream, just play the clean version. It's every song released by a major studio that has vulgar language in it will have a clean version.
And I think
Yeah.
especially the songs that have vulgar language, if you're worried about heavy, curse words or swear words, definitely turn your stream on to like 18 plus.
Yeah,
Yep,
just,
sure.
put them
Just to be a
aside.
little
Yeah.
bit more
Yeah.
safer
I
on
have as well.
yourself.
Yep.
If you might not be dropping F-bombs everywhere, but if your songs are going to, it might be a good idea to at least have that kind of barrier on so people are aware that what they might be hearing might not be pleasurable for them.
Right.
Right.
And that
For sure.
protects your viewers as well. Like even if not even just music, if you do curse a lot, we all know I do. I actually had someone come in my stream and like get mad at me about it. I was like,
No, I was there. I was watching that.
I was like, it's a mature channel. It's marked
It's
for
like,
18.
you need to
plus,
watch a
but that
lot more
applies-
slot streams, bro.
I'm like, this is the channel, and that applies to music as well. If you are going to be playing anything that has vulgar language, you definitely want to have that as 18 up because that can come back to bite you in the ass.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Right.
And Huggy, the streamer always has first right of refusal when it comes to a song.
Yeah, always.
If it's-
their
if
content,
it's-
their channel. Yep.
Exactly. And so if it doesn't fit, so if it's something super trolly, if it's racist, if it's just whatever,
Anything you don't
they
want
can
on
skip
your
it.
brand.
It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So
Right.
that's fine.
Absolutely.
New York Gamer, yes, this is what we're talking about now is, and I will post these again in the resource channel so that you can check them out. But music.twitch.tv will lead you to the Twitch Music Library. There's also another way you can go, Monster Cat. I don't know if any of you have heard of Monster Cat, but it is a channel on Twitch. You can go there, you can tell it to join your channel, and it will play Twitch approved music. And when you're done with it, you tell it to leave and it goes away.
Cool.
I haven't quite figured out how to do it personally because when I was playing with it, I didn't give myself enough time to truly figure it out. But there is an option to do that. So twitch.tv/MonsterCat. It's EDM, but some of it's really good. And I actually have a clip of a Monster Cat example. If Eddie wants to play like the first minute of it, 30 seconds, whatever, just you can even go to the middle of it just so we get a sound bite of it.
And you just need the audio, right? You don't need the actual.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Let me turn it up a little bit less. Here, I'll jump around a little bit. That good? More? So I'm supposed to keep going?
I think it's good.
All right.
Sounded good.
Oh, here, the dance. Let me put it back on.
No.
All right.
I had the delay because I was listening to it via the stream. So you can tell it's very upbeat. There's a lot of bass to it, a lot of rhythm, but it is an option that is the safe option to go with, because all of their artists that they work with have given that permission. As far as sound effects, New York, there are websites. You're probably thinking along the lines when you're like maybe creating your games and you're putting in sound effects, because I know you're really interested in video game design. There are sounds out there that are copyright free, but there are also sounds out there that aren't. I know there's libraries and places you can go to check that out. I don't know the details on those specifically, like the door creaking sounds and the jump scare sounds or whatever. That's something that maybe you could look into for us, or I can look into.
I do have websites that have like royalty-free sound effects that I can dig up from my college days if they're still active.
Awesome.
Cool.
I'll try and find those again.
Lord of I wanted to know where that music that you just played was coming
Yeah,
from.
and I was gonna copy paste the YouTube link, but for some reason it won't let me do that. So if one of you guys can go back,
I can get it for you.
Yeah, and
if you I gave what I sent to Eddie was just a YouTube clip of Monster Cat. So you can go. They play music pretty much 24/7 on their channel. You can go there right now and listen to what they've got playing. They have stuff on YouTube. They have a playlist on Spotify. And I want to go back to touch on Spotify. We don't actually have the rights to use Spotify for other people to listen. It's for personal use only. So if you were to get hit for using Spotify, it wouldn't necessarily count against you on the channel per se, but you could risk losing your Spotify account.
Mm-hmm.
So
Rough
food
day.
for thought there. It is. It makes it sound like, well, why even bother playing music? Well, it's not that. It's just that it's a matter of respecting the artists and supporting them and making sure that they're getting the money for putting in that work. And of
especially with Spotify, because unless it's changed, artists make 0.0001 cent for every play.
Yep. So they don't get anything from it. I mean, it's nice for us, but if we truly want to support our favorite artists, it's not exactly the best way to go.
No. The only people who make money from Spotify are people like Lady Gaga and millions and millions and millions.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
And directly from the Spotify TOS, it says the following is not permitted for any reason whatsoever: copying, redistributing, reproducing, ripping, recording, transferring, performing, or displaying to the public, broadcasting, or making available to the public any part of the Spotify service or the content, or otherwise making any use of the Spotify service or the content which is not expressly permitted under the agreements or applicable law, or which otherwise infringes the intellectual property rights in the Spotify service or the content or any part of it. So big words, confusing terminology as any law stuff ever is. But basically it's saying that we can't do that. And like, I don't know about you guys, but I know there's some local stores that I walk into and they're playing Spotify, Pandora, whatever. Technically they could get hit on that themselves. It's not just people streaming.
Right.
So
Mars, you had something?
In terms of like how, like, I know like a few of us have used artists to commission for our emotes, musicians to commission for custom made songs. What are your thoughts on that?
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's not a custom made song, but we all know Duke has made my sub song, Duke Lennon. That is, he used, this is again where kind of parody comes in. He used like the musical line of I found, I saw the signs or whatever, but he kind of also layered other stuff and created his own thing. That's not actually copyright infringement. Because he's creating his own version of that, but not actually changing the intellectual property of the music.
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
If it's
yeah, you can go.
I was just gonna say it's the same with any art, whether it's music or if you commission somebody to do a painting for you. Just because you purchase it doesn't mean you have the rights to it.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about.
It still belongs to the creator. Yeah. So technically, like if we were to commission Duke to do a theme song for Crew Talk, he would still technically be the owner of that work.
And if he wants to revoke the rights for any of us to use any of that stuff at any time, like if he texted me right now and is like, stop using that sub song, I'd have to take it off because he owns that. Not that he would do that, but he owns the intellectual property.
Unless he quote unquote like sells you the rights to it, which
you would have to actually buy the intellectual rights.
Yep.
Right. So a couple of questions here, New York Gamer, because I do see that you're stacking them up here. Going all the way back to your Nintendo and DMCA thing. Most of the stuff in Nintendo regarding DMCA is fan-made games that are using Nintendo properties. Nintendo's very much cease and desist with that sort of thing. You're not allowed to use Mario. You're not allowed to use Yoshi or Luigi, any of that stuff. In terms of music goes, that would be, I mean, Nintendo's not really isn't going to be people that care if you're streaming a Nintendo game and have some music in the background. I mean, they're not; those two aren't related there. You're asking about sound effects. Sound effects. It depends. If you're pulling clips from movies or things like that, they would be subject to the same. You get in trouble the same way, just like their music, because it's property that you somewhere else that you are borrowing and you're using for your stream. So. Technically, sound effects would be subject to that as well. I think you had another one, and it was directed at Mars, but I'll go ahead and take this question. What about Apple Music?
Go ahead.
Apple Music's no different than playing music through Spotify or Amazon Music or anything like that. Just because you have a subscription, that doesn't mean that it's on Apple. It's still on you because you're the one who's playing the music through your stream. So
exactly, like in like iTunes, like if you. Just because you go out and buy the CD or you buy the MP3 version or whatever, that is meant to support the artist, but that isn't purchasing the rights to put that music out there. Right. It's for personal enjoyment, which is different.
We do have a comment here
from Duke, who will know more about this than any of us.
Actually.
Yep.
Actually.
But wait. There's more.
Do you want to hop in? I mean, we
Yeah,
can.
why don't you
do
just
you
hop
want to
in
hop
video
in real
chat real
quick?
quick? I can get rid of the overlay so it's not doesn't look weird. If you
That way
just
you don't
wanna
have to
join
type a thing, and then we
Yeah.
don't misread what you're saying.
it.
Yeah, you can
totally
hop
just
in
Probably
here.
explain it better.
The more, the merrier.
Yeah, do it.
Or like
I'm
I can
telling
hop
you to do
out
it.
if you want.
No, he's gonna hop in. Come on. do
Okay.
Please.
Join the call, Duke.
Come on,
Join the
Lemon.
call. Join the call. Do it.
Everyone post an emo in chat for Duke.
it. He
He
said
said
no.
no.
Nope. Oh,
Surprising.
oh,
Rip.
come
So I'm gonna
on.
read this verbatim what he wrote. Okay. So if I say it wrong, blame Duke. He says correction.
Correction.
It is technically.
Ah, here he is.
Oh, there it is.
Yay.
Yes. Hold on.
Go ahead, sir.
All right, did I screw up the whole?
No,
No,
it's
you're
fine.
great. You are
All right,
we're good.
phenomenal.
Okay.
We're good.
So technically, when it comes to a song like that, the melody is copywritten as well as the master, which is the. Oh, it did screw all up. Wait, no, it
it's
didn't.
good.
Fine,
I took it out. Yeah,
You-
we're
you
good.
can
Whoa,
leave it.
cool,
Yeah.
cool.
I compensate,
Anyways,
yeah.
so it's a gray area because the law basically says that you can't use it to profit, which technically is not the motive on Twitch, obviously.
Mhm.
But it is and you said it earlier, Musi, it's like a performance thing. And seeing as how there's a copyright there's IP on both the master side, which is the physical, like the song, like I wouldn't be able to put, the actual song in whatever, right?
Right.
But also the melody and the lyrics and all that stuff,
Okay.
which even if the lyrics are changed, that just makes it a derivative work of the original,
Mhm.
which then means
That's the
it's not technically infringement, but you know what I mean? If the IP owner were to come to me right now and say, hey, like, we really would like you to buy a license to be able to use that, even though it's a derivative work, then that's kind of it. But as far as like Twitch cracking down on it, probably won't happen, just because it's not against the law technically, but
Right.
it is a gray area.
Okay.
So I wouldn't advise everyone to like find joke songs of the songs and play them in their stream or something. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
Yeah.
that's just bad. But that's just my 2 cents. You guys
I
are doing
like it.
great.
Awesome.
I love
I like
you
it.
guys. You
Thanks,
guys have
man.
a great
Appreciate
We
it.
love you. We miss you.
You the bomb.
We love
Bye
you.
now.
Bye.
Bye.
That's definitely a better
Beautiful.
insight. What I was talking about is stuff that I studied like 8 years ago, so it's kind of a little bit outdated. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And for those that don't know, Duke is in the industry, so like
Mhm.
he lives and breathes this stuff. So he probably would have been the
Yes.
better person to talk about this than me.
Straight from the source.
So to finish up, the thing that I found today that I got super excited about is something called Pretzel Rocks.
Oh,
Has anybody heard
tell
of this?
me more.
I mean, pretzels do rock.
They do
So-
rock.
Consider
It's
me
something
peeved.
really cool that they've gone through because they knew since the Twitch music libraries at when it first came out, like I said, it was really good, but it hasn't necessarily been supervised and maintained as well as maybe it should be. Pretzel Rocks has gone through and they have made sure to make agreements with all of the artists of the music that is used. And by you having an account with them, it gives, and their agreement that they have allows you to stream it on your stream. If that makes sense. They kind of did the work for you. The cool thing with them is and something I didn't mention before, is if you upload your VODs to YouTube, just because it works for Twitch doesn't mean it matches YouTube's rules. So that's something to think about too when it comes to music. But if you are planning on uploading from Twitch to YouTube, Pretzel actually has a setting in there that will filter and only allow YouTube and Twitch approved songs, which is super cool in my opinion. They have, what is it? Around 225 hours worth of music that you can play from. They have, their playlists are things like ambient, epic, happy, chiptune, so 8-bit type music, pop, EDM, hip hop, kind of a mixed variation, upbeat, rock, hype, chill. So they have a lot that you can choose from. And the really cool thing is when you sign into it, you have to sign in with your Twitch account, and it has a chat integration that will put into chat what song is currently playing. which
Very
I
cool.
think is super cool.
Nice.
Super cool. I did
Yeah.
that with my Bell account because I was playing with it while I was at work.
Nice.
Cool.
Cool. But and I was watching my chat, even though I wasn't even signed in under Musibel. It was still filtering into my chat what song was playing that I was listening to.
Nice.
They also have some bot integration with Ankbot, which is now Streamlabs, Chatbot, PhantomBot, and Nightbot for putting songs into it that way. I
nice.
haven't played with it a lot. It is approved for Mixer as well. So if anybody, I don't know that we have any Mixer streamers or anybody that dabbles over on that side of things, but it has approval for that. And like I said, it has a YouTube filter. They have a free version. They also have a premium version. And of course, that's a monthly payment type of thing. It pretty much comes out to about $13 a month, which is kind of a lot. It gives you a few extra things like mobile. I can't remember what all, like you can shut certain settings off that you can't if you're just doing the free version. But they actually break down how much of that $13 a month goes to what. And about 66% of that $13 goes to the artist.
Oh, nice.
I think that
That's
to
pretty
me is almost worth doing the $13 a month because that's spreading the love. But
Oh yeah, absolutely.
that's just
Absolutely.
my personal opinion. And that's what I want to play with this. I'm going to play with this in my own stream, see if I can get it set up and working and see how it works. And then kind of do a follow-up and let you all know. And then if any of you want to, again, this will be one of the links that I post in the resources channel for any of you to check out if you want to play with it yourself as well.
Cool.
And
cool.
Awesome.
for New York Gamer, I will track down those sites. I use them in college, so I don't know if they're even still active for royalty-free sound effects, but I can track them down and see if they are. And if they are, I will post those in resources as well.
Cool.
Sweet.
Well, do we have any final questions about anything we talked about tonight?
Yes, I do. What is Mixer? No, I'm just kidding.
How about caffeine? Do you know about that one?
Which one?
Caffeine.
Caffeine? What is caffeine?
Oh God.
Caffeine is done by Microsoft. It has no
I
delay.
mean, like actual caffeine. I'm like,
No, it's a
That is what I
streaming
have through
site.
an IV drip into my arm because I don't sleep.
It's a whole thing. It's really weird. Rambo played with it one night, and I think Mars and I were playing with chat, and like the chat boxes come up really weird across the
Yeah,
screen.
it
At
is
least did.
awful.
But there's no delay. You can set a delay, and it actually works directly from your game, and like chat and everything shows up on your game.
Yeah,
but
which
that's
is
one
really
of the
nice,
things.
but that chat
It is not
bubbles
the
were
same thing in
kind
New
of
York.
weird. Yeah.
It is very different. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject.
cool.
I was just being sassy because Eddie was being sassy.
Sounds about right. Yeah, so any questions? Any more questions there? Or any announcements that you guys wanted to give out before we
Oh,
wrap
I have an
things up?
announcement.
We can do announcements before we do
about
questions.
announcement?
Give people a chance to put some in the chat. Go ahead.
Sure. Next week on Friday is our Fortnite tournament. I do have the link posted, I think, in the Fortnite tournament for signups. You can sign up as a duo squad. You can also sign up as a single person. And before the tournament comes into play, I will list all the single people and hopefully that you guys can squad up with each other. The signups will end on Wednesday at about, midnight going into Thursday. So try and have your entry in before then, and then all the rest of the information will come from there. But just make sure you get your signups in. It is in the Fortnite channel in our Discord. And if you guys have any questions, just feel free to DM me. So I'll be around.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
We also have some other things in the works, guys. So be on the lookout for some announcements coming up. We've got some awesome things in the works. So
Rachel, do you have something as well? Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say if you're
Sorry.
interested in casting any tournaments, let anyone in who is a mod or an admin or anything know, because if you want to cast and you don't let us know, there's no way that we're going to know and know to reach out to you to
exactly.
cast. So please let us know if you're interested in casting, and we will do our best to get you in there. I
Awesome.
think that was all I had to add.
Muzi, go back to you because I think I prematurely cut you off because you were still talking, and now you probably lost your thought by the look on your face. So
I was thinking for a second. I was like, where was I going? It must not have been important.
It was
We got the
probably a
tourney
lie.
we talked about. It's the cake is a lie. Um,
That's what my mom says to me anytime I forget something.
I think that's it. Yeah.
I did
Cool.
have, first of all, Vile, I am older than 33. I'm a reigning old member in Twitch Crew, just to answer your question there. And movie night. This Wednesday, upcoming Wednesday, we're going to do
yes.
a horror movie. I'm trying to find a way we can watch The Shining. It's not on Netflix or any other streaming services, but I would really like to see it. I know some people have requested seeing it. If for some reason I can't get it to work out, we'll just keep an eye on the channel. I'll put out a vote for some other choices
Stick to
horror-wise.
horror. We're gonna stick to horror this week, I think.
Yes,
That's
we will stick to horror. If we can't get it to work, we will pick something else. But I am going to try to get that because.
Feel free to drop some recommendations in the movie night channel for horror movies
absolutely.
in case we can't get The Shining, so we have some movies to go off of. Drop your favorite horror movie.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Cool.
That is correct. So, okay. So last call. Any more questions for us guys out there in chat? Anyone before we go ahead and wrap up?
Oh, merch.
Go ahead.
Don't forget, we do have merch. You can
Oh,
check
yes,
that
we
out.
do. We do.
Merch.
I have my hat right here. Super awesome.
Very nice,
Look at
very
that.
nice.
You can see my screen right
Awesome.
now. Hold on. I can't see
No,
my
I
screen,
believe
but
that is the baseball Twitch Crew hat, right? With the easy. Is that the
Yeah, it's the
Easy
flex fit.
Mm-hmm. There's
flex
also the a hat that's kind of
My
more
head-
like what I'm wearing. It's got the flat bill, the adjustable, the snapback, which I will be having here shortly. IO, sorry, I got triggered. Pack BC. Anytime this is OH, I gotta say IO. It's not really fair. It's like I don't even know I do it. So,
Oh, HIO.
but yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Yes, merch.
No, that was it.
Oh, that's it.
Disaster
Merch.
Industries,
Okay.
aka Splice Haven, Spicy Haven, aka Jeff. Super awesome guy. He's the one who's doing that for us. He's amazing. He works hard. We love him. All that good stuff. So,
And yes, the VOD will be up for everybody if you
Mhm.
missed anything.
And to YouTube
Yes.
as well.
Yes, and on YouTube as well. And we also have the VOD for the Siege tournament yesterday. So if you missed that and you want to check out the games, feel free.
Yeah.
Do
see
you
my
guys have anything else?
one clutch round that I had out of the
That
entire
was
time.
amazing.
One thing I
Good
did.
man.
It was
One
amazing.
thing. I literally.
I
got
can
like
only
0
imagine
kills
you
the rest of the
screaming
tournament.
at yourself. Okay.
It was really sweaty.
Um,
My hands were sweaty.
That grin that
They
you
were.
just made.
My hands were sweaty. They were. But it was a lot of fun. Once again, congrats to Vile and the Outcast clan. It was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Hopefully, we'll see you guys next time. I can get some revenge. So.
We have one last little question from Jono. Jono, we have touched upon this before as to whether or not you have to have a cam to cast. No, you do not. It really depends on the game, but you do not have to have a cam.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else to add?
Nope. I'm putting the links in that I promised in resources now, so you can go check those out.
Cool.
Okay.
So
well,
guys,
if
just
that's-
check out resources. If not, we have a raid going. I'm gonna start it now if you guys are cool.
Yep. I'll just go ahead and wrap
Cool.
up then. So once again, this was Twitch Crew. This was Crew Talk with Twitch Crew. I'm Eddie Nines. She's Musa Shell. She's Mars Echelon, and she is I'm Not a Slut. Love you guys. Thanks for joining. Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Yeah.